Boom, 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 boom. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Hell Decker TV. Whoa, booyakasha. This is Dudeism with Dan Le. Man, I'm a dudist, on this Sunday afternoon. Isn't that great? Yes, this is Hell. We're a theatre bar in Estonia, and it's currently lockdown times, and we are doing online stuff though, online stuff now as well. We're streaming all the way through, all the time. And this is Dudeism it's a religion. It's a religion where we just literally go with the flow of what's happening. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? And we just, go with whatever goes on, which is usually stuff and things. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, Dan the Man, dudist. Yeah, you can go to dudeism.com and check out what the religion is. It's from the film The Big Lebowski as well, if you want to know more about it. I normally do as well, I always do, have a special fantastic guest as well, but unfortunately due to technical problems, last minute technical stuff, our guest hasn't been able to join us today. So, which is great, which opens up actually the Dudeism the whole dudist thing, of just going with the flow, which is what I'm doing. Normally, go, oh my God, hey, we'll just skip it today. It's no worries. But actually, today we're going to just continue on and go with the flow because that's what it's all about. And hopefully we'll get our guest on next time for the next show would be Brillante as well. We've got a couple of people online watching. Whoa, hello. A couple of 100,000, because we're so popular here. Maybe I should finish drinking that as well. Very good. It gets in the mustachio. If you want as well, you can pop things in the chat, in the old chatteroo box, and then we can chat as well. Let me just pop something in there as well. Hi. Wow, look at me. Look at the engagement levels. Boof, and it pops up there. So you can say anything anytime you want as well with in chat. As I was just saying, we did have a guest. I normally do our guests through Discord, and our guest had a few problems with that. Maybe they get them sorted out and we'll be able to get them on the line. Let's see. But otherwise, we're just going to go with the flow, as is the thing that you do with, what's it called again? Dudism. That's the whole point of Dudeism, is that you just go with the flow, isn't it? Yeah. I've also secretly got, something to keep me excited here, or us excited, for all those people that are excited to be watching Hell Decker TV right about now as well. Yeah, pop something in chat, just say hi. I did, our guest today, we were actually going to talk about a little bit of art and culture. A little bit of art and culture and where it's going these days as well, because as you can see, we're all online at the moment. We're doing online gigglies, and it feels like our in Estonia, we just got our lockdown. Well, our business, we're not allowed to open up yet at all. We've got another 2 weeks, I do believe, another couple of weeks of being closed and doing more online stuff. I actually really enjoying the online stuff because you have to. Either it's a choice. Either you can decide to be annoyed about it all, or you can decide to have fun with it. So I've decided to have fun with it. And I think it's going to be the future. I really have this feeling that we're going to struggle to get audiences back live in theatres. Like this is a theatre that we've got here. So this is an actual circus tent that I built a couple of years ago, and the actual tent wasn't that successful. But when we took on this place here, we needed some seating, and it fits in perfectly. So yeah, this is the circus tent that. The theatre, getting people into indoor spaces is going to be more difficult because everyone's got so used to doing online stuff. Like everyone's used to coming and checking out channels like this, and it's basically free as well. There's no barriers anymore. You don't have to put any clothes on or get yourself dressed up or worry about, I've got to have dinner before I go, or I've got to rush anywhere, catch the tram, grab a taxi, meet friends, anything like that. You can literally just jump online here from the comfort of your own home or your man cave, cat den. What is it? Why don't you re-register Hell Decker as a restaurant to bypass the lockdown? Well, this is the thing. It's a really interesting topic that as well, and it'd be good to get your thoughts on it that out there from the people that are here in chat too. Like we could this is the whole point of this Dudeism, this online Dudeism, going with the flow. Now the whole thing is in Estonia there was an exception made for the lockdown that started in December, saying that there's religion, you can have church services, 50% capacity church services, which I find hilarious as well. Just in the fact, in the least religious country in the world, or one of them, Estonia, they make an exception to church services for the lockdown. They must have a really strong lobby group, and it was very exciting as well. After the March lockdown that we had earlier on in the year, after we came out of that and we had spring and got into summer and got into some kind of some what people call back to normal, then they said, oh, don't worry, hey, it's not going to happen like this again. We've learnt a lot of things from the last lockdown. We've learnt so much that, don't worry, it's not going to be the same as what we just had in March. And the only difference really at the moment that I can see is that church services are allowed and they're at 50% capacity, which is for me one of the things that it's not even a tangible thing. Like a total respect to all religions and everyone's thoughts and what they would like to believe and get into, but there's no tangible evidence of like Dudeism existing like this. I believe in Dudeism. I believe in going with the flow, but there's nothing tangible about it. For the one thing that should work online, where it's not tangible, where people can just virtually sit around there, is about things that are virtual and aren't actually real as well, for religion being out there. So yeah, we could. This is the thing. I don't know. This was my thing. I was going to ask our friendly lawyer friends to find out. Hey, Dudeism is a religion. It is official. It is a real thing. There's lots of people that practice Dudeism all around the world, and it's got a website. It's even got a university. People preach it and practice it. There's books that have been written about it. So how is a religion recognized in Estonia? What do you have to do to be a religious place? So I was actually going to open up Helldecke here, this place, our theatre bar that has to be shut at the moment, as have Sunday services. So this was going to be the 2:00 slot. Exactly what we're doing right now. I wanted to do live on stage. Well, basically, just to open up so people can, and the thing is that, hey, we can serve drinks then. You can serve drinks in a church service. They drink wine. They have food. They have little wafers. We've got chips and beer. That could be our thing. Or White Russians. That's what the dude always drank. That's what the dude from Dudeism always drank. So yeah, I was going to do that. But is that in the spirit? This is the conflict. This is the real conflict that I struggle with these days as well. Is that it's not in the spirit of the rules and regulations that we've got at the moment. Like, yeah, we can skirt the rules. Like, there are places, of course, that are still open at the moment, and bars and places. I'm sure that there are places that can do that, that do that at the moment. But is it in the spirit? The whole point is that if more places do that break the rules, even whether we agree with them or not, then the longer that we're going to be in this situation for, because there should be more cases then and more of these things happening. So I don't know if it's in the spirit of the rule of what we want. What we want to happen, because the first lockdown, of course, hey, 50% capacity of a space, and people were going, oh great, because we own the upstairs space as well. This is not me, we've got a room next door to us that's 90 square meters. But we'll lock that off and just force everyone into one room and just squish them in together like this. And then we're still at 50% capacity because we're not putting them in all the different rooms. So, but is that in the spirit of the laws and what we want to do, which is to drive this COVID thing away? Conflict. Trying to do the right thing, but also run a business at the same time as well. So in the end, we ended up doing this online stuff as a little bit of a poke at the religion. Because honestly, I don't see the reason why they should get an exception at all. I really don't see it, because you can do church services virtually for people's faith. They can get the energy and the needs, everything that they need to get out of their faith, they can get from an online sermon or somewhere else. They do not need to be standing next to each other. No. And also, for one of let me just rant and rave. It feels like I'm just ranting and going with the flow of ranting and raving, is the church. If we look at it as an international, big thing, like Protestant, Catholic, Russian Orthodox, all of those things, whatever you want. is that they are probably some of the most richest. They have deep pockets. They've got so much money around that they're the businesses that don't need to be open. They do have the money to be able to invest in online services and to do things like that. Like, I really don't understand why they really need to be open. It's nearly like that they're just, showing their power that we can. We can. It doesn't make super sense to me there at all. So so we could open as a restaurant. We absolutely could open up as a restaurant, but I don't know if that's in the spirit of it either. And also, that is a restaurant just to serve chips. If we wanted to do it right, because originally when we opened up Helldecker as well, then we did want to do food here as well. But it's the best way to absolutely, bankrupt yourself quickly, because we'd have lots of stock to hold. And at the moment, like, I really wouldn't want to be a restaurateur, because tough days ahead. Super conflict. If anyone see the delivery services out there, some of them offer 40% off. 40% off to get people in to drive demand. I must say, I go for those. I should really support more hospitality and business places by paying full whack for it. But no, I go for the 40% off. And then you put in the Volt and Bolt, or the delivery service takes their 25% chunk. Hooly dooly. There are fine margins in restaurants these days. Absolutely fine. It's fine. Margins, absolutely. I'm just seeing that our surprise guest could potentially join us a little bit later as well. They're slowly sorting out the tech problems, which is great. Let's see what happens. I'll just let them know. But yeah, I'm really intrigued where art and culture is going to be in after this winter that we're having in Europe at the moment. Arena, what do you think? What would we serve at our Helldecker restaurant anyway? What would we serve in the Helldecker restaurant? We've well, we did do well. Question. If you're still out there, though, this show here is just nice just to listen to while you're doing something else, like making pancakes, cleaning the house, looking out the window pensively, all of those things. If you want as well, if you did want to ring in, we can get you to ring in, and you can actually talk to us live on the show here as well. Because I do have a few secret things that I can do as well to keep everyone entertained here at the same time, though. That's totally possible. Two. No, we lost a bit of chat there. Anyway, so going with the flow. This is I really like the online thing, because it's just it's actually there's I know I look very I didn't put all my prep on today, because I was looking for trying to sort out all these tech things before. But maybe no, I did. I like the online thing. It's actually quite relaxed. I did a gig. I don't really care. Yeah, I think there's less caring in doing stuff online than there is actually when I do stuff on stage for some odd reason. That's why I like online, and I'm actually really keen to continue with online. I think that's why audiences do like online as well, because it's very I think there's it's more accessible, that's for sure, more accessible, and I think that it's more honest, it's more human, I think, as well. It's more human. You can really get a feel for people, and there's more contact, especially now. I know our chat's going crazy at the moment with so much chat going on, but you can have access to someone straight away. And you can kind of write a comment, and if they mention it or not, it doesn't matter. Like in an actual show on stage, you should shut up, turn your phone off, not be distracted by messaging at the same time. But all of this online stuff, you should actually be doing that, or you could be doing that, or you couldn't be. If I mention something like Dudeism, and you go, "Oh, what the fridge magnet is that?" You can look it up straight away, and it doesn't actually annoy anyone else at all. It was great. Was watching some English television last night, and I haven't looked at television in many a year. But now they actually have so many advert breaks that they're nicely timed for your attention span. Just annoying enough and just not annoying enough, if you know what I mean. Not too often, but often enough that you actually, the first thing that you do, your reaction is to get your phone out. Oh, ad break, cool. And then you just, you're pinging away messages to friends or just checking out if the world's exploded yet, or Armageddon's happened or anything like that. It's the natural ad breaks. That's why online it's a constant ad break the whole time. Or I can actually also, we can go on an ad break right now. Wonder what happens if I press that. Maybe there's an ad break on or not. I'm not sure. Maybe it happens in the corner. I just pressed it, but I'm learning all this tech as well. Did a gig on. I did my first. Well, not my first. I did another. First of this big gigs with an event agency on Friday, which was brilliant. Did an online. I did a Zoom gig in the end. Whoa! But I actually feel with the tech that we've got here, and I should have set up the second camera. So I wanted to do that so you could see what we've got here of how. How the tech looks, so you get a better idea of what our studio looks like, what I'm seeing and what I'm sitting in here, is that we have had not too many tech screw-ups that have actually ruined the whole thing, that we've had to go, all right, have to cancel, can't do it, which is the danger of all this online stuff. And I think that's the biggest block to people actually being able to deliver content, is that we're judged constantly on our audio, which we've had problems with for sure. Judged by your video as well, because like there's poorer quality video out there, and also because you've got to get some lights that try and light you up a little bit and give you some kind of feeling, and that's what I'm learning here as well. And not everyone has access to all of that to be able to do that at all. I think that's the only block. But this gig that I did on Friday was, they had, and there's more than Zoom out there, I'll tell you that. There's so many new apps and programs and companies coming out with ideas to try and make sure that we move this offline in real life, conference, party, event style events, to move them online so they're actually enjoyable, and it's not just you sitting in a room being muted constantly by people or being told to turn your goddamn microphone off or anything like that, so that you're getting feedback and ruining the experience for everyone else. They had like table setups, so you could have 6 people at a table. It was like a proper floor plan for a real big event. And everyone knew where they were sitting, and then there was a stage, and you can have access to the stage to listen to the speakers, and there's a certain number of speakers, and you can do screen shares, and you can have chat, and all of these things going on. It was quite intense, and like the tech level that you need to do to kick the tires of all of that is huge, to be able to work out what you can and can't do as a performer, as a technician, like as a person that wants to be part of an event. What can you do? What can't you do? Lots of things to work out, and it's stressful. It's freaking stressful being a techie or doing all this technical stuff with this online gizmos. In the end, if you've got more than one camera, more than one microphone, and more than one person, and you want to do more screens, then you need more people involved, and it is stressy, absolutely. Because what happened at this gig on Friday was that. Yeah, they had to actually, in the end, move everything to Zoom because this Gucci super duper software and program that they had issues, and they couldn't resolve those issues before the start time with the client, which was nuts. But it made me feel a lot better, because we've never ever had to do that here from Heldecker when we've been streaming with with more cameras and more talent and more microphones and all of that, and more scenes and setups and transitions. But I totally understand the stress with that as well. I think definitely we are going to have more and more online world performances. I want to know what it's going to look like. Like, I'd really like to get some 3D glasses out there. Yep, for sure. Or the 7D or whatever they are. So in here, that I wonder how many years it's going to take. Maybe, what do you reckon out there, where we're going to have access to that tech at home? So I'll be able to stream in 3D, that you'll be able to put the goggles on and actually experience that you're there. Wow. I think that's going to happen, right? Because does anyone remember the Google glasses? the glasses that you could drive with or whatever, and it would show you. They never became popular, did they? They never got to cult status much there at all. Woo! Straight or curved? What should we do? Yeah, and so there's I think the tech, we've got to make a lot more failures to get out there before we can actually have a product that's going to be useful for our theatres, for our performers, for events. There's got to be a lot more testing, a lot more failures. Like Dyson, the vacuum cleaner guy, that's a multi-millionaire dude now. He had over 1,000, I do believe. Fact checkers, check me out and see if I'm wrong on that one. I definitely could be. But he had loads of different prototypes that he went through before he got the vacuum cleaner that was the one that made him Dyson, that made him all of the wow animal araha, that made it rain for him. There was so many prototypes that he had out there for the Dyson vacuum cleaner, and we need to do that in vents as well, that's for sure, because it's not there yet, I don't think, either. It's very easy there's not that engagement level. It's not as good. And looking on your screen, and I'm sure that you're going, what's this guy doing? Bit shit. Let's go see someone else. Let's check out what else is on Twitch on the 150,000 million different other channels that are going on, or let's go check out what's on my IPTV Honor. Let's go check out what's on Netflix. All of these things, and we've got to. And this is the amazing thing where we look at how supermarkets, like the bigger companies, are actually taking more and more of market share within their market. So, for instance, I used to go down the market, the local market, and buy my fruit and veg and bits and bobs there from the local sellers as much as possible. And now I don't do that. Absolutely not, because it's more safe, as they say, to get it all home delivered, or to go to a big shopping center and get it all done at once. Less risky. So those guys are losing out. All of that money that I used to spend on the local dudes is going to supermarkets. Same with all big chains for everything else in shopping online stuff. Everyone's going to Amazon because it's cheap. Yes, you've got to go for price. So we're losing out on all of the local deliverers for appliances. And also it's happening in culture and art and performance and entertainment. Absolutely. The bigger players are going to be the ones that are going to be able to put on, so the big opera houses, they're the ones that are going to be able to have super awesome tech and have they're going to be able to jump over that hurdle that we just talked about before, jump over the hurdle of getting good cameras, lighting, getting the right technicians, all of the people that have actually studied all of this stuff and know what they're doing, as opposed to, just sorting it out as you go along, try and fail like we've been doing here as well. But it does work. Absolutely. You can get there as well. But it's not an even playing field. That's for sure. Money will always trump. Use that word. We'll always use. We'll always smooth things over for you, make it quicker to get to the top. That's for sure. So I totally see that the small stuff like what we're doing here at the moment it's going to be a tough game. That's for sure. It's going to be very competitive in the next 6 months, because I think Stage is going to. And hopefully then, like the open sources, I love the people that do open source stuff, tech companies and all of that, that there is some, like OBS that we use for streaming here is an open broadcasting system, service system, software that's open to anyone. That you don't have to pay for it. You don't have to Adobe Photoshop and all of those. Now, wow, name drop whatever service that you use. They charge a lot. That's quite a bit of money to use their software. This one that we use for streaming is open source. So I'd hope that in the end, when we have a performance platform that makes it easier for all of us to be able to stream entertainment, performances, art, culture, whatever you want to call it, that it is accessible to everyone as well. Yeah. Because when we did this online stuff too, and this is the tough thing as well of going online. It's not just about, I'm just going to get my camera, get my lights, learn how to use the broadcasting software and figure out how to actually, I don't actually need these at the moment. That's great. Let's go without them for a bit. Oh yeah, look, there's a nice little quiff going on there. That's quite nice. Oh, I can get really relaxed. Oh, brilliant. Oh yeah, let's bring that in. Oh yeah, that that you don't. It's not even just about knowing what. That you sorry that you've got your camera and you want to do online. It's where do you go online? That's the huge thing. So when we started, what was it, in March this year, spent 2-3 weeks trying to work out how to do all of these system of what cameras should we use, what does the sound like. I ended up getting a brand new mixer as well because the mix that we had for our stage stuff wasn't good enough to put in the line in of the computer because sound's huge, and learning about noise gates and compression. And so we can trying to get any hum or hiss out. So depending on where you go away from the microphone, and I know it's not perfect at the moment as well. We still need to work out little bugs of how to make sure our sound is awesome all the time. And then the camera, what aperture size do you use, what frames per second, all of these things. Then you've got like the bit rates and all of those things of the technical jargon of streaming. But we're not even talking about once you've got over those things and figured out, we can do some all right stuff because there's a lot of crap out there. Definitely wanted to make sure that if we streamed, it would to be as best visual quality and audio quality as possible, because people judge you straight away online. At least in a theatre, people judge you generally on your content. Well, they do judge you how you look and stuff like that, but you're not in control of the glasses that they're seeing it through. Everyone sees you in 2020, or not so perfect vision, but they see you the same, regardless the person next to you. But if I'm sending out my stuff in really poor quality, then everyone sees it in poor quality. It's not up to you if you squint your eyes on. Is that an analogy? I'm not really sure. But you know where I'm going with that. You don't understand what I'm talking about, right? So once you get past all of those things and you've made all of those decisions and spent the oodles of hours working all of that out, it's not even just about pressing the broadcast button. Where do you broadcast it to? Because we started off, of course, with Facebook, our Facebook following, and we had we put it on YouTube as well. Helldecker didn't really have a YouTube thing, but we started that up. And by the way, hey, if you are on YouTube, if you are watching and listening, please subscribe to us. That would be great, because we need to get to 100 viewers so we can change our URL to gobbledygook, to something that's like Helldecker, that looks smart and cool. So anyway, we were streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and also I found someone told me about Twitch. I had no idea what the hell this thing is, Twitch. I was like, what? And then looked at that gaming platform, but they want to do more entertainment, so we started streaming here. So 3 different places. But the thing is as well, that if you stream to Facebook and YouTube, especially Facebook, I find that the audiences just want to click away, real quick. They don't care, and it's free. There's no way of actually getting, of trying to monetize any stream on Facebook. It's got to be. It is a free event. As well. And same with YouTube. I have this feeling that it's got to be pre-prepared videos, like YouTube live stuff on YouTube, not so much. It should be used as an archive. And Twitch, at least with Twitch here, there's a push, like, for maybe not all of you know about it, but people that know Twitch, then there is a subscription service that you can use as well, where 50% of the money goes to Twitch to pay for the servers, and then 50% of the money goes to the streamer themselves. After taxes, credit card processing fees, American taxes, and all of those things. And before you get it into your company here, for instance, in Estonia, which would then see more taxes come out and more accounting and all of that, which is great for trying to work out how much you need to actually have a sustainable, how many followers or how many subscriptions do you need to have a sustainable business on these things. Quite a few, I'll tell you that. Same as with YouTube, you have to have huge followings to it for it to actually make any monetary sense. And there's a lot of people that just do a little bit, but don't actually push through. You've got to do it regularly. Anyway, so you've got to choose your platforms. That's where we were. That's the hard bit. And so what we've done now is I've cut off Facebook and YouTube. We set up the events on Facebook to advertise it, of course, but we don't stream there anymore. We've gone with affiliate on Twitch. If people don't know what that means, then affiliate is where we've jumped through enough hoops. Not everyone can do affiliate on Twitch. You have to jump through, have enough viewers at one stage, do enough hours, and have streamed on different days. It's pretty easy stuff to do. And then that's when you're eligible for subscriptions. Otherwise, all the other streamers on Twitch that you might be seeing as well, you can't subscribe to their channel. You can only donate or tip as well, which is another interesting thing as well. It's the donation thing of this online stuff. If you do Facebook or YouTube, hey, donate to us. I feel like that we're constantly a charity. And I don't want to be known as a charity. I'm not a charity. Absolutely, I'm not a charity case. I am a human being. I have a life and a lifestyle that's not extravagant. I have a family. I have costs. I have all of those things that I incur as well. And what I do for a living, it is, well, should be paid. I should be more definite about it as well, but it should be. I feel a little bit uncomfortable because I do understand it does feel like a luxury, this art or this culture, this thing that we're doing right now. It feels like a luxury. We don't actually need it. If we had to cut the fat out of our society, would this be one of the things that we would cut out first? Is it really superfluous? Is it just not needed? And I think totally wrong. We do need it. I know, especially personally, selfishly, this is for me at the moment as well. Not monetarily so much, because I know I've 1,000,000% new getting into this right now here. I'm not doing this because it's going to pay the bills right now, this month, or the next month, or the month after. I know that it has a future to potentially pay the bills in maybe a year or so if I consistently keep streaming. But there's no way in hell that I can keep doing this and saying, hey, donate, please donate. I'm a charity, give me something. Because, hey, you might pop in €5. I think, well, we've got it's not even up there. It's not up there in the corner. Oh, I haven't got them today. Maybe I should turn them on. If you do donate, then, like €5, like Joel had, it was our last one that donated, put in €5. The likelihood that he's going to donate again is pretty small. That's why they have the subscription service with Twitch, because then on a monthly basis, you get a reminder that, hey, you've got your subscription, like this is lapsing. Do you want to continue it? And they go, yeah, sure. And you just throw in €3 or €5 or €10, and you can support them like that. But yeah, I feel it was a really tough decision to do. So we went with Twitch. And I know what you're saying as well. I know what you're saying too. You're going, wow, but hang on. Why don't you just put a paywall up like other places? Why don't you ticket your events? Why don't you say, hey, well, if you really believe that this is worth money, then make sure, put a paywall up against it. So people can't access this without putting their money where their mouth is, just like a normal show. If you want to walk in the front door and see the show, then you got to pay money for it, whether you like it or not, in the end, which is great. Hey, I love seeing bad things as well as good things, and I'm happy to pay for bad things that I don't like, because I know that my taste is not absolutely universal and international. My taste is my taste, and my taste will change over time as well, and my taste will change from seeing good things and bad things, or things that I don't like. And I can see a bad show, a bad produced show, and still get something out of it. I don't bitch and moan and whinge about all of it. I'll bitch and moan and whinge about some of it, but not all of it. And I'll always get something out of it. You've got to get something out of it, otherwise it's a waste of your time. Arena, well, nice long comment. I think what Helldecker Online is missing is loyalty. It's hard to reach a new audience, but you can invest in those who have already been attending events on site, etc. Legally speaking, if you have mentioned on websites privacy policy that you may use this information for reaching out to them for marketing purposes, you may use the contact information of those who have participated earlier to reach out to them of Helldecker Online events. Yeah, Arena, exactly. And that's the point I was getting to as well, of trying to build your audience online. So we're actually in a very kind of privileged position that we do have a Facebook following as well that does help us get the 6 people that I see watching online that are on Twitch. Maybe you're watching on helldecker.tv. Maybe you're watching there as well. I don't see those figures straight away. So we might have a few more people, and someone might be hosting this as well. I think we had Matthias was hosting this on his channel potentially too. Whoa, cool. So you can host, so he's streaming this to his channel. You can do that. And we do send out the information to our Facebook people because they see the events, but we also have, we do have an email list, a newsletter list. So for all of the people that have bought a ticket through Fienta, our ticketing platform, people. It's white labeled in the end as well. So on our website, it looks like it's us, but it's actually Fienta. They do all the hard work. They're great people as well. Fantastic. They're actually looking into helping us out with this bit that I'm going to mention right now, which is putting the paywall up for things. But yeah, we send the newsletter out as well because we do have their GDPR. We do have the consent to send them propaganda. And I try not to do that too much, though I do probably do it too much. And it's interesting to see the stats on how it actually works with the newsletters as well. But we push that out to help us build an audience. And that's why you need thousands and thousands and thousands of followers and people on your channels and on your pages and stuff like that for you to even just get a small amount of people that will come and watch you, or small amount of people that will support you financially for what you're doing. So yeah, it is a big weight of numbers that you need. So we do reach out to those people as well. But the point of that as well, I don't think that people would be really we keep on trying to get a new audience now as well. So with us being on Twitch and Facebook and YouTube, I don't think they're good platforms to convert people to watch something from. This is much better, I think, Twitch. So we're on a platform that our audience that we have that have seen us on stage, I would not expect that, I would think that 95% of people that have seen us on stage here don't know what Twitch is and are, don't tell me to go somewhere. No, I don't want to sign up. And we'll watch it through our website. And then we don't get them in chat. And then you can still tip, but it's a donate thing. It goes to that donate tip thing again that I'm talking about, that they feel it's a charity. And I don't know what other word to use either to make it feel like it's not even support, because it's really difficult if you do free shows or pay what you want, free to get in, pay to get out. Try and make it a little bit more, you're paying for your entertainment. That's what you're doing. You're just paying for it afterwards. I think it's difficult, very difficult game to do. As a street performer as well, that's what we do as street performers, is that you convince the people to stop, which is difficult. Then you convince the people to stay throughout your whole show, which is, you've got to make sure that your show is exciting enough to keep the people there, that they don't walk off. And then that's not even, you can do all of those things and then you can still not get paid, because if you have a shit hat line, if you're crap, then you don't get any money in your hat and you don't get paid. Some people that just have a really good hat line and don't do the other two things so well actually do pretty good as well. So that's the same here, that we've got the converting people, convincing them, manipulating them, if we can say that, the people to put money into a hat at the end without it feeling like a donation. Like, that's what they do on the street performance side of things. They tell people, this is my living, this is what I do. This is what I do for a living, folks. If you've enjoyed the show, then you'd buy me an ice cream, wouldn't you? You'd buy me a beer in the bar. That's €4. That's €5. Pop that in my hat so I can pay my rent. I can take my girlfriend out for a fantastic dinner, or I can invest in my children going to a school, or eating food this week or next month. But yeah, it's a real interesting part, and I don't think it's very difficult online to get that up actually about the donation thing. But anyway, the paywall. So I wanted to get as well. So I didn't think that we had enough of an audience. So this is two parts here. To it. I don't think that the audience part, I don't think we had enough of an audience that would want to watch us online. I don't believe we did our first online stream, and we got the sympathy numbers. We had maybe 300 people watching. And I think 300 people came through. How many people actually watched? Who knows? So much. But I think it was 75-ish people watched for longer than, like 20 minutes or so, or something like that. I think that's what the stats said. So it was okay, but the averages, dropped after that massively. Not halved, basically, for shows that we're doing online. So we got the sympathy show out. And we couldn't expect that to last, and I don't think that's not fun. If we put a paywall up on that, I think you'd lose even more people as well. So I don't think it would make it financially viable. And the second part of that, it's not just the audience. I don't think we had enough following yet to do it. The second part, tell me if I'm wrong there, maybe you get more respect by putting a paywall up and going, well, maybe you get more people. Okay, cool. I'll pay the €5 or €10 to see that online show. I'll go on a tangent there as well. But I don't think that I was competitive enough against Netflix or these online platforms where they can give you content like, man, holy dolly, you can see some awesomely produced multi-million euro productions on Netflix, enough to keep you going for a whole year for whatever it is per month or whatever streaming platform there is around there that's dirt cheap. Even what Amazon Prime or whatever, it's free at the moment. Jesus, and you get a month of just watching stuff for free, and then after that, it's a few bob a month. How am I supposed to compete against that of my one show where I would normally charge €15 to come and see me on stage live? I can't charge that in an online environment. I should be able to, but I just can't. Not against the competition would be great. And you can say, hey, yeah, but you can get 1,000 people watching you. But what are the chances of 1,000 people or 10,000 people watching me online at €15 a head? Negligible. Even at €5 a head, I don't have that connection to the audience, online audience, enough, because we're not superstars. I'm not a superstar, not yet. Well, for some of you I am, I'm sure, and thank you for that. It's really nice to have your loyalty there for that one. And yeah, the price. I'm getting myself distracted, but this is great. Just going with the flow on my own. But it's also about the show. It's not about the audience. The thing is that this is what we're doing right now here. I would never ever do on stage. Never ever. I would never ever drink milk on stage. That is for sure. I would never ever. Well, maybe I have drunk milk on stage. No, I would never do like this podcasty style, chatty, whatever you call it, Dudeism, online Dudeism. Go with the flow. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should. I'm just going to go through Arena's Twitch. Just remind me, I was talking about show development, for online show development as well. So you mentioned you've moved to Twitch while you have more followers on Facebook. What is the reason behind that, apart from easier payment integration for donations? Yeah, because with Twitch, yeah, good point. Thanks, Arena, for asking as well. If you go for affiliate on Twitch, then you can't stream anywhere else at the same time. That you can stream to your own website like we're doing. That's okay, but you can't stream to another platform like Facebook or YouTube at the same time. So and once you go affiliate, so if you're not affiliate with Twitch, then you can only accept donations. If you are an affiliate or a partner, you go up to the next level, you jump through the hoops that Twitch says that you have to do, then you are then able, you can put cheer points in that you looked at before. There's different ways of monetizing your channel, but it means that you can't stream anywhere else and that you have to try and push everyone to Twitch. So that was a considered decision to go, okay, I think that's the best idea to do that. Let's try that, because, yeah, even if we stream to Facebook, out of the 3,000 or so people that are like our page and follow our page on Facebook, I don't know that everyone gets that notification or would actually want to watch us, or how many people as well, because I know I've done it too. When a friend or someone goes, they're streaming, you're like, oh my God, another person's streaming, and you might click on it quickly and you'll see 3 seconds worth of it and just, I can't be bothered. I'm going to go off and look out the window and do something else. Or I'm going to go clean the oven, something or other, just to not do it. I don't know what it is in our brains that tell us that if it was Elton John, I don't know why that's in my head, or someone else, or Stevie Wonder or U2, that or Moby. Moby was on Twitch the other week, exclusively doing a show, and if it was one of those big fellas, then of course I'd go, wow, far out, awesome. I'd click on it. I don't know why. That is like, I've really got to change that with my thinking as well, because there's so much good entertainment and art and culture out there that's online these days from people that aren't name brands, and we're so pushed to only believing in things that are name brands that we've been told are good by who? By media, by our own social media, by likes and clicks and follows, and that they could have bought. I don't know who they are. It could be all death metal fans that like this one thing, and I go, well, they've got 5,000 likes, they must be good. No, judge it on its merits by watching things, looking at things, regardless of where it comes from. That's what we need to do, for sure. So yeah, maybe it was a. What do you think, Arena? Is it a better idea to stay on Facebook and do it through that, and then you are fishing only for donations the whole time? What do you reckon? Do you think that's a better way of doing it? Please disagree or agree, or it's a tough one to do. I just know as well, looking at other people that have gone through this thought process and this decision-making process, is most of them end up streaming to Twitch in the end and growing their channel on Twitch. That's what they do as well. So I thought, well, everyone else seems to be doing that, so let's do that. Why not? So, we were at also show development. So this doesn't work on stage. Just me talking at an audience, looking at some text chat. So there's the two things here of when we were talking about doing hybrid shows. Okay, so where we have a real audience live, and we're streaming online. So I wanted to try that as well. I had my show Dicey, which is, if for people out there that don't know what Dicey is, it's one of my, I went on my own a little bit, we've got time, don't we? I went on my own, and this is the arts and culture thing. I'm a bit of a weirdo fish when it comes to the arts and culture world as well. I've studied circus, I've studied theatre in non-traditional schools. Absolutely. They're not recognised by anyone apart from, recognised by nobody, that's for sure, 100% nobody. Well, the people that go to them, they are, and they're good ones as well. There's been some great actors that have been through the theatre school that I've been to, and there's also been some great theatre people, circus people that have been through the circus school as well. Plus, I've done street performance, which is weird, and that was probably the best school, one of the best schools as well. It's free, and teaches you a shed load as well. But I decided, I was living in Estonia, and I decided I want to come up with a new show. I was a bit tired of all my street stuff. So I decided, and I was single at the time and looking for a change, somewhere warmer for winter. I wanted to do a winter thing and get away and make my own residency. Because being an unrecognised circusy, street performer basically in the end, you don't get access to residency programs so much. It's, there's not a lot. There's more now, that's for sure. You don't have access to all of the bells and whistles that a lot of other culture people do. If you put an application in for something as a street performer, normally you're turfed out straight away just because you're a street performer. You don't know what you're doing. You can't be professional. But there's a shed load of great, fantastic performers. Found out, maybe it needs to be fact checked. Please do if you can as well. David Bowie started out as a street theatre and street musician as well. Many moons ago, he used to do his stuff, his craft on the street as well. Robin Williams was a famous street performer. Cirque du Soleil started out as street performers, as a street performance group, and grew themselves to becoming the world's biggest, $1 billion circus company. None of the original founders are there anymore, of course. It got bought out just recently. It wasn't such great timing by a investment. I do believe it was an investment firm as well that just had, oodles of money and saw the cash cow that Cirque du Soleil could be, or was, fantastic. So so the street performers is actually it's a secret, awesome place to be. And lots of bands, musicians have started out as street performers as well. Of course, music is one of the most natural places to be. So I'm a bit of a weird fish in that respect. And so I made up my own residency. I went, bugger it, I'm going to go and live in Budapest for 3 months. And so I did. I just went over to Budapest and in Hungary and lived there for 3 months, and on the premise of developing a new show. And so I went and lived there for 3 months and just got myself my own apartment. And it was actually really weird because I was circus, so I always go around and check out, say hi to all the circus people. Hey, what's going on? Go to their juggling jams or, meet people and say, hey, I'm a performer, I'm here for 3 months, la la. And they'd always ask me, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Why are you here? And I go, I'm here, I'm here on a residency program. And they go, oh, cool, what residency? And I said, my own residency. I just decided to come and live here for 3 months and work on a new show. And it's amazing the reaction that you get from people when you say that is, really? Why would you do that? Why would you? And it's kind of a little bit of like, well, why wouldn't you just get a normal residency and do it? And in my mind, that I didn't need the financial support then to do it. I was, as a street performer as well, you generally go around and live wherever you want. It's a very free lifestyle, and I didn't need to get an official, from the residency of the blah, 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 and you have to go here and do that. It's absolute freedom of, no, I'm just going to go live there, so why not? And so I did, and it was kind of funny that, there was a little, that's a bit weird, but I worked on my new show there as well. But perhaps just casually going on Facebook Live every once in a while to introduce the audience to Twitch would work, like one show every month being hosted on Facebook, and you can be like, hey, have you heard of Twitch? We often stream there, and below is the description on what is Twitch and how you can watch our weekly streams there. By the way, whenever a page I liked, followed on Facebook goes live, I get a notification. Same for Twitch. Cool. Okay, that's a great idea, Arena. Yeah, fantastic. I should add one more in on Facebook. Yeah, we just do a Facebook only stream. Yeah, and try and convert all of those people. When you say that You do this? You're streaming as well, like one show every month being like, or are you just talking about Owl as in Owl because you're now part of the team? Because you're number one. So Arena's got a first there because she's one of the first 10 subscribers to the channel here. And that's for life now as well, being a first. And that's a great idea. I think I'll do that next week for sure. I will do something. It's got to do something exciting on Facebook to try and convert, or just an explainer. Just like this, basically wear that and wear this and drink milk. And then do that. But talking about show development and this is the thing, trying to work out what should I do on Facebook that's interesting enough, because I think we've got this whole click off, I don't want to watch kind of thing that happens. And so, yeah, developed this show, Dicey, that worked out really shit when I got back and did my premiere. Well, not really shit, it was difficult. It was a tough show. But I've worked it even more, and now it's a fantastic show. It's brilliant. I've performed at different fringe festivals in different places, which is great. But and how it works is there's 42 different options that can happen in the show. So when I was writing the show, the new show, I was like, oh well, how should I work on a show? What do I do? How does that work? Because I've had other street shows, and they just naturally came about. And this time, I it was different. I've got an existing show, so that affects how you create your next one actually as well. It makes it very difficult. I've got to do new tricks or new circus stuff or different things, and I didn't really have terribly much stuff. And I wanted to know what I should learn then if I had to learn a trick, because learning tricks takes time, freaking ages. Tough stuff being a circus person. Your trick can last 15 seconds, but it takes you a whole lifetime to perfect. Crazy, the dedication that it takes for those things. I'm not that kind of dedicated circus person. Maybe a little less time invested for certain tricks. But, which trick? Because there's millions of them out there. So I wrote down all the things that I could do. And actually, in the end, went, oh, well, that's quite a few things. Let's add a few more in. And ended up making it 42 different things like the lottery. And then I'd read a book years before called The Dice Man by Luke Reinhardt. If anyone knows it, I highly recommend it. And I know also when anyone ever recommends a book on Facebook or somewhere, no one ever reads it, so maybe I shouldn't have mentioned it. But Luke Reinhardt is a pseudonym. I forget the guy's real name, but it's The Dice Man. And it's a fictional book that turned into non-fiction in the end because it became so popular and cultish. Basically, the book, The Dice Man, is about a guy, a psychologist, who deals out his, what do you call it, medication, his, that word, that thing that you give people, his, when you talk to them as a psychologist thing, you give them your feedback, your advice. He would roll a die to find out what he would tell them. So he'd write down 6 different things. Well, actually, I think it was like 2 different things: one good one bad one thing that he thinks they should do, and one thing that they shouldn't really do that's not really good. And he'd roll the die. 1, 2, 3 was one of them, and 4, 5, 6 was the other one. And anyway, he created this method of how to take decision making out of his life, so that all decisions in the end for his life were made by the die. And so it went from just a very yes or no, black or white, one or the other kind of decision, to having 6 different options, and then roll the 6-sided dice. And then whatever came up, you had to do. That was it. You were bound by the die. That was it. And it's a fictional book, but it became so, whoa, that's crazy, that people actually ended up playing it in real life. And there were dicing halls in the States as well, where you could go in. And the thing about this Dice Man was that there were certain sexual fetish kind of things that were going on with it as well. It was a little bit that direction too. So it was very interesting for the bored, people that have too much money in the world. Absolutely. The bored too much money people in the world. And the kicker on this Dice Man thing is that you wouldn't pay to get in. You'd pay to get out. So you'd go into these dicing halls, and then you would roll the die when you wanted to get out. Could be free, or it could be up to, like $500,000 or something like that. That would make it just ridiculous. So it's for all of those people, like the adrenaline rush of gambling, while also, decisions, whatever they have to do is taken out of their hands as well. So I actually used to do my birthdays like that, because I was always away. So I'd play Dice Man of what bar to go to, what drink to order. I got myself into some sticky situations. My one highlight was I actually ended up drinking. I was in Edinburgh for Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and then went out on my own with the dice thing, and I ended up in some dodgy bar drinking some Scottish man's. He took off his dirty sock. That was what was on the thing that came up. Took off his dirty sock, put it in a pint glass with beer, and I had to scull the beer. That's not something that I would normally do for my birthday celebration, but that's what came up on the die. And the rules with that, the ones that you should really, the suggestions as well, is that you should put 3 good ones and 3 bad ones. 3 things that you would like to, that hey, that's pretty cool if that happens, and 3 bad ones. So you're not just giving yourself good options or bad options. So you've really got to think about the options that you give you as well, because you can get yourself into huge amounts of trouble as well. Because on another side note, geez, getting very talkative today as well, is that the Dice Man, when I first found out about it, actually, is not through the book. It was from, I didn't read the book straight away. We actually had, when I was working in France, in Lille, Café Oz, woohoo, hello to all the Café Ozes out there in Lille, in France, many moons ago, that we had a carload of guys come in from England, and they were in a film and media school, and they were doing their final thesis dissertation. And they'd read The Dice Man, the book, and they wanted to do it about that. So they shot a film about The Dice Man. So what they did in Time Out magazine, they advertised for a stooge or someone to be the person that everything would happen to. So, and then they would just film it. They would just film everything that happened. So we ended up in Lille getting all of these people there. It's cool. Oh, cool. We got another comment. Arena's going awesome on the comments. Personally, the reason I opt in every week to your streams is 1, I truly enjoy being part of the conversation, which is so rare to be able to be part of the show with comments instead of passively listening like podcasts or videos. 2, there is actually interesting conversation going on, and it's a very innovative way to socialize with the whole lockdown, but I'm not sure what other viewers like to see, so that it can get their attention to view Facebook Live for a longer duration. Yeah, awesome. Hey, thanks, Arena. Really nice to have your comments. That's great. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wicked. And it's always lovely to have you on the stream as well. And brilliant. And yeah, it's a Rubik's Cube, the whole, how do we get more people on Facebook Live to hang around longer, or at least convert them across? Because, hey, new app, download this. No one wants to do that. Or go over here now. You're used to being here, but do this now. Ugh. But it's great. I'm glad you mentioned it, because definitely I'm going to do that next week. I'm going to do something on Facebook, and we should advertise it as a thing. Yeah. It's a nut to crack, though. And this is the crazy thing. If you've just... I think from a very smart social media person as well, that they told me that it's not about, you can't, having one event, having success, it's not about that necessarily. It's not the only thing. It's the continuity that you've got to have, the continual bombardment of just doing it all the time. One thing's not necessarily going to work, but the thousands of things that you do with social media, all of them just working a little bit, is really going to make more presence. So I think it's just got to be, I've got to do that a little bit more. Just regularly do something on Facebook Live to try and indoctrinate, educate people to come across to Twitch, where it just feels more financially viable, or just it feels less like a charity that we're just doing a one-off. If it was a one-off for hey, help us out, which I'm really against as well. I don't want to do a one-off charity. Hey, help Helldecker survive. Because no, we don't need that, because that's not sustainable. I'm very much always in sustainable art and culture, and at the moment we are sustaining. It's fine at the moment. I'm actually a pitch coach. Would you believe? A pitch coach. What does that mean? I'm doing that online, so I've transitioned to doing that. So for the people that are in the startup tech world, then I deal with them. I help them out to get better on camera, because I also do it live for on stage, so speaking into a microphone, or their body language, how they are, and also online now as well, of how to look at tech, how they can best look at things to make them come across in the best possible light for when they're asking someone for, like €500,000 to support their tech startup. So actually do that. So that actually subsidizes Helldecker well as well. So if you are in the tech world, hey, get in touch with me. I'm one of the best around. Absolutely, 100% been working with great companies and getting even more work through that. So actually, it's quite busy, so I'm quite good. Maybe I should do my hair for the next one. I don't wear this either, by the way, as well. So yeah, that's my other hat. But yeah, thanks, Arena, for the comments. That's really nice. And I do like the interaction, like we were saying before about audiences as well, is that this is the difference between a live stage show and online, is that we can have immediate access to the performer or the person, the talent, and say, hey, whoa, this, and they can read it out straight away, and it doesn't actually interrupt the show or do anything. It's just a different style, different format, which is the other thing about the show development. When I was talking about Dicey, I know, long story, finish anyway. Dicey, so I put the show together of 42 different options is what I went for, and then I got one of those water coolers that you can, at the office, and put 42 ping pong balls in it, 42 ping pong balls, numbered them, of course, and then put a leaf blower up it, and all the ping pong balls, and then one pops out the top. It was a homemade lottery machine. One pops out the top, and then whatever number comes up on the ping pong ball, that's what you do. Simple. And then you keep going until one of the balls is the stop ball. So you keep performing, you keep doing your thing until the stop ball comes out. And then that's it. Then the show's over. So the show could last 5 minutes, or I think my record is 3 hours and 40 minutes as well. So been long streams, and then at the end of the show as well. Long shows, and then at the end of the show, it's free to get in, but you pay to get out by rolling the die. So one can be free, and then you graduate the prices all the way up to the top as well. Oh, so that's really cool. So there's the tension in the show for a really long time. So you walk in for free, but the contract, the contract, verbal contract that we make is that, hey, if you see the show, do me the honor of rolling the die at the end to find out how much you pay. Maybe it's €15 for a 5-minute show. Maybe you get to see 3 hours and 40 minutes and it's free. Freaking awesome. So the tension's there right to the end. And that's been really successful as well. Can you help with dating first impression pitch too? Absolutely. Why not? I don't. Oh man, that's a really difficult one. I was horrible in the dating game for generations, for years. Absolutely. I accidentally, very randomly, and very luckily found my partner. We had 2 lovely, awesome, gorgeous kids as well, and I never expected that to happen at all. Don't worry, dating game is tough. That is, and I didn't use Tinder or any of those things. I was fortunate enough to get in before all of that happened. But I don't know. I had many horrible dates. I don't know how to. I even went on speed dating once as well. I went speed dating. I went back to Australia. Oh God, totally getting distracted. But this is great, going with the flow. This is going with the. Hey, for people, anyone that's just jumped online and seen what the hell is this grey-haired person in a thing drinking milk. This is Dudeism, going with the flow, literally just talking stuff. If you want to help me go with the flow or push it in a certain direction, you can pop stuff in comments as well, which is why we're getting distracted onto dating as well, helping out. I'm not sure if just be yourself. That's it, because you can't. Would you like? This is the thing that I don't think that you want to be yourself first, and then that one. And you want to be yourself first, because you don't want to actually be trying to appease someone else and just make them feel that you don't want to be fake and have someone liking you for the wrong reasons, for you not being yourself at all. I think you've just got to be yourself. And did speed dating in Australia, and that we were talking to this girl and lady, and what do you do? Where are you from? What have you been up to? And I told her that I was a circus performer, and I'd done circus and stuff like that, and la 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 la. And at the time, I was trying to, convince myself I was going to stay in Australia, so I wasn't telling them that I was going to. Wow, we got some really nice people here. Let's just do that. Ding, ding, ding. Hi, Brutalicious. And I was now, what? Geez, and this is why you need more tech people as well. Someone to do the comments, and then so I don't get distracted of. But she didn't believe me. I told her about all the circus stuff and bits and more. She goes, no. Tell me what you really do. And didn't believe me at all. Oh, Brutalicious, you're great too. Woo! Woo! Awesome. I love these guys. This is wicked. This is one problem with the with the online stuff. When we talk about the contact with the audience, is that it can get a bit too involved and graphic there as well with the comments. That I don't know what the point is of all of this either. Really, so much. But yeah, it's speed dating. I didn't really get into it either. And then I got my card. Well, I didn't. I found it different. The people that I thought, hey, yeah, that'd be really nice. I think we had a good connection. Then you get your scorecard afterwards, or like who liked you as well, so that they can swap the information. And all of the ones that I'd marked down went, oh yeah, they'd be really nice to see again. None of them did, as well. So obviously it was a different wavelength as well. But of course, hey, you don't want to be fully with dating. You don't want to be. People that have been going out for 2 years or 3 years or whatever do things in each other's. Publicly in each other's environment, companionship, in each other's company. That's the word, in each other's company. They do more things than they would on a first date. That's for sure, absolutely. So yeah, you don't want to be doing all the things that you would with the first dater, as you would as if you've been together for 3 or 4 years, of course. But you still just have to be honest. Just got to be, and it's a needle in a haystack trying to find people that you can get along with or put up with, and you're not going to find anyone that you can get along with or put up with perfectly. I think you just got to compromise. Not that I did, absolutely not. Darling, if you're watching, absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. I didn't compromise. Oh my God, we're going to have this is recorded. Maybe we don't put this one up. Hopefully it's just live. Anyway, so the talking about online shows as well, or should we just keep it? Can I force the flow back to what we were talking about beforehand? I'm going to try. And do that instead of the dating thing. That's a lovely emoticon there, though, as well. It's amazing. You can get that by subscribing to the channel. Just you can get the moustache. The moustache emoji. You can also, that's level 2, and I think this is level 3 as well. Whoa! Yeah, rock and roll. Hey everyone, you're watching Helldecker TV. This is this is it. This is where we are. Follow if you can. That'd be great. Let's get them up. Tip and sub, or do whatever you want. Every bit. Just watch. That's fantastic. Always appreciated. And my name is Dan Leman. I'm a Dudeist. What is a Dudeist? I'm also just a human being, a person, performer, entertainer, father, bar, theatre owner, Dudeist. That is a religion. And if you go to Dudeism.com, and you can it's from the Big Lebowski. You can actually become a Dudeist yourself. It's free. It is a religion, and it's just about going with the flow. Hey, if you want to help me out personally as well, you've got Helldecker that you can follow online and stuff, but you can follow me as well. I've got Instagram and Facebook. The links are on the Twitch page, just a little bit below, or if you're watching on the app or somewhere, maybe a bit to the side or something like that. If you're watching on helldecker.tv on the website, then pop over to Twitch. You can also be on chat. You can take this. So we just go with the flow with Dudeism, which we take the conversation anywhere. And normally I have a guest at the moment. The guest had some technical issues and can't come on board at the moment. But maybe we'll get them on board later, or I'm just going to keep talking forever because I love talking. This is a great thing I used to be a mime as well. Started off doing performances, street performances, where I did not speak, did not talk. I just used my arms and hands and would do a half an hour, 40-minute show with pantomime, or whatever you want to call it, or mime, or wordless performance, wordless comedy as well. And that was really fun. And the whole reason for that was I wanted to be able to do international stuff, go around the world and do and that really worked. I've been to lots of different places, 35 different countries, and performed and not have to worry about, do you speak English? Or sprechen Sie Deutsch? Or spending years working out the language so I can translate the show into that. No, I didn't want that. So it did wordless performance as well. Let me tell you, that is not a way to, don't tell people if you want to date someone that you're a pantomime clown or anything like that. No, doesn't help. Doesn't really help in any situation. I can tell you that. Doesn't help in any situation at all. I would highly recommend not doing that. If you're going to lie, come up with something else. Yeah. The performance thing, while we're going on Helldecker TV, all of those things. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. I think that was enough. We were talking about Dicey for the ones that have been watching for a little bit. We're talking about Dicey, which is a show I put together on my own residency that I put together as well. And online stuff. Dicey. So I had a show that got cancelled due to the lockdown thing, but I wanted to do hybrid. So one of the problems when we're talking about today is that the online world and where it's going to go with for culture and entertainment. Because look, hey, we're here at the moment. Arena cheered, look at that, woo! Yeah, and you can pop in cheer points. That's a great thing about Twitch as well, huh? Is that you can cheer if you like stuff. You can put your hand. You do need some money for that though, as well. This is the thing that they do gamify financially things here. Yeah, that's what they do on Twitch. But and that's one way to do it. It's very cheap and easy to cheer as well, and you can use it on all the channels. La 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 la. But for Dicey wanted to do hybrid style, so using, like for instance, this what we're talking about is that the changing of entertainment to being more online, and I think that's definitely going to be the future, and trying to actually embrace that and find a show that works online as well as it does on stage. But it doesn't have to be the same show, but we need to, we don't have amazing, awesome shows that work online yet, I don't think anyway, because we've only just started. We shouldn't have it. It's going to be such a great process to be involved in, the creative process of working out how to get shit that works online. As well as, because we spent decades, years, hundreds of years working out, if you go back to Commedia dell'arte, thousands of years, lots of time working out how to do stagecraft. Man, there's loads out there. So online, super new, we need another 100 years to do it. But I would like to start already on the creative curve, the process to figure out what works online. So, wanted to do that in March. I was going to do Dicey as a hybrid show. But the thing is, hybrid show, you can't. A hybrid's really difficult. You can't do a normal stage show with a hybrid when we're talking about having a live audience. So, for instance, we'd have people on the bleachers, on the seats behind me, on the circus tent, while I'm streaming, and I'm looking at chat, and I'm trying to engage the audience as well and keep them entertained. And they're not just a backdrop. They're not just there. Like, it's not a TV show. They're not just studio, and we can, let's have a caller in. Oh, you've got a question? Oh, great. Not like that. Want something that's actually as theatrical engaging, not just a podcast, sitting down. Yeah, you can have those. They're great. They are fantastic. But that's one sort. It's not a show of what we expect of, absolute, circus tricks and in my mind of a proper stage show, ballerinas, dance, all of that. How can you put one of those shows on stage in hybrid style or online in hybrid style with text chat and live audience? No, I actually had one planned, and I did advertise it of doing it, and then it just, there's no way that, like, Arena's been putting messaging in, people have been messaging in, and if I miss that message, then someone of the tech guys has got, you got a message, you should deal with it. This is a really good one. You should talk about this. Here, I have the attention for this. If I had an audience in front of me as well that I've should be giving eye contact to and making sure that I absolutely deal with all of my sides to make sure everyone feels like they're part of the audience and I'm not just ignoring them all like the fourth wall. Sometimes in theatre, you pretend the audience is the fourth wall and you just ignore it and you play to each other. And that's one way. And that would work online potentially. Yeah, sure. But I don't think it's a good one as well. I think I would click away really quickly unless it was amazing. There's got to be, the difference between online and stage is that we have this chat function, that we have this video, we have this direct interaction with the audience. And that needs to be embraced to make good online shows. I don't think putting a camera up and ignoring the audience, like some theatre does and all of those things, it's a way of doing performance at the moment online, yes, but it's not the future. It's not absolutely 100% engaging. It's not going to, I don't think it's going to grow anything for the performers or for the audience as well. It's a band-aid to the band-aid solution at the moment. So hybrid, tough, really tough to do. So then you've got to think about then, okay, well, if I'm going to do online and we've got this chat thing, we've got these cameras, we've got limitations with making sure we've got good audio and good visuals, and like I've got one camera or maybe I've got two cameras. Do I have a tech person? All of these limitations. How much money do I want to spend on it? All of these things. Then you've got to figure out what your limitations are with the tech first and all of these things, and then figure out, well, what should I do for a show? And it's going to be different. 1000% it's going to be different to your normal stage show. I believe that in the way that we put shows together, that an online show should not be able to be put on stage, and a stage show should not be able to be put online directly. With it being so, that's why this whole chat function, that this show could never be online on stage, because we've got this chat function from someone that no one can see, or with an audience. It just would feel weird. That's my thoughts anyway. Feel free, please disagree with me, or say something about that as well. Would be totally jump on chat if you wanted. But that's my belief of it too. So I canned the hybrid show of Dicey, of doing this random show that could last 5 minutes, or 3 hours and 40 minutes, and it's what my favorite. It's really, I love the show. It's really good fun to do. I actually did one in summer, because I do it very sporadically as well, every now and then, and they sell out, which is great. Woo! Though we have 50 seats here, it's not difficult to sell out for it. But I like the small intimate shows. This is great. I love it when I bring up topics that I get passionate about to talk about as well. Is that fantastic? We normally get totally. This is the one thing about what's happened in with lockdowns, and when we came out of them as well, is that people were worried, I'm doing performances for 20 people. I'm used to doing it for thousands of people. It's like, and I like small shows per se. I don't want to do a 10,000 person show on stage or anything like that. Not particularly. It would be great financially, absolutely. But those kind of environments, again, are totally different to doing a small stage show for 50 people, because the intimacy, the closeness of the audience, it's totally different. And that's the beauty of different stages and different theaters around the world as well. I'm trying to find a show that you can modify. The strength of the performer is modifying themselves to be able to have that same connection with the audience, regardless of the size of the stage, the height of the stage, the distance from you to the audience, the number of chairs in there, the number of people in the show as well. And I think that's great. If you can do a show for 10 people, doing a show for 10,000 should be no problem. But if you can do a show for 10,000 people and you've never done a show for 10 people, I think you'd struggle going the other way. We go, I don't know what to do. And I think that's what we've seen in coming out of these lockdown things as well, that people have got so used to these big audiences and everything like that. They've lost what it's all about, that, hey, one person is enough. One person is fine to be performing for. I know that some of your stuff material might need volunteers or helpers or something like that, some more input. But at the end of the day, trust yourself as a professional performer, all of you people out there, that you will come up with stuff to do. Go with the flow. Let's go back to Dudeist principles for performing as well. Much like I'm doing today. We had tech problems with our guest, and I must say my heart fluttered a little bit, going, oh, schwaps, what are we going to do? I don't know, but we're now over an hour into the stream, and I still don't know what I've said, but we've done an hour of something, and there's still some people watching at the moment. Woohoo! Rock and roll. No, it's one, and we've talked to some good issues here as well. Well, I've actually feel that I've got some things off my chest, but not my hair, which is still got to be. This is Dudeism. So. Dicey, the show. So want to do an online version of it. And I think it just needs to change a little bit. Need to kick the tires of the tech and everything like that, talking about online shows. So what kind of shows can you do? So I do want to do Dicey, and I'm going to contradict myself. Everyone's a walking contradiction in life, aren't they? Human beings are a contradiction. No one. We expect, isn't that amazing in media and everything like that? We expect everyone to be perfect, when in actual fact, nobody is and ever can be. It's impossible to be perfect. We want people to have jagged edges. We want people to be wrong. We would like to be right or do the right thing as much as possible. Absolutely. You shouldn't willingly do things wrong, but we want the best out of people. We want people to be positive and happy and helpful and all of those things, and be nice, good human beings. But at the end of the day, we have to accept that no, not everyone is. It's not that simple. Life isn't that simple, but it is, but it's not. It's a contradiction. It's not a contradiction, but it is. Do as I say, not as I do, but don't. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I know I talked about before of, online's going to be different to the stage show. And I've got a stage show of Dicey, and I want to do the exact same thing online. But I've got to change it. It doesn't just work straight off on there. Because I do crowd surfing is one of the options. So I've got to change a few things. I can't jump on people. And even outside of Corona, if it was staged now, I don't think crowd surfing is the best thing to be doing right about now for that. So I'm going to change it and put it online. Then that's the whole thing as well, what we're talking about. So the content has to be different of what you want to do. And I think that's a great explorative process that we're all going to be going through more and more. Looking forward to spending time on that. So yeah, what I've done here with Helldecker TV at the moment, it's this Dudeism, which is basically a podcast, but with a little bit more interaction with the audience or just a bit more randomness. Well, basically podcasting, everyone just goes with the flow anyway, so it's nothing new. It's just calling it out for what it is, which is just going with the flow, and calling it a religion. Well, I didn't call it a religion. It is an existing religion, just using the existing religion to go with that. Then I'm playing games as well, which is everyone's doing that. No, this is nothing new at all, but hinging it on my personality as a person to make it more exciting to watch and enjoy. Not sure if that's working so much at the moment, but we'll see. It is fun, Disco Elysium. I actually enjoy, I get too much into the game and enjoy, and it's a long one. I think the game choice that I've done there with Disco Elysium, if anyone knows that game, it's an Estonian, heavily Estonian produced game. So yeah, that's why I played it as well, because we're in Estonia here. Whee! And wanted to give that a shout out and a try. And it was Game of the Year last year. It's freaking, it's really cool though. Enjoying that a lot. But it's not the most popular. It's not one of the shooter games, which you get thousands and thousands of people watching. This one, I've looked at Twitch on the other streams, and they might get 10 people watching someone play Disco Elysium, which is where I'm at about. Yeah. And then the third option that we do is a quiz, online quiz, which is probably the most popular piece of online content. It's no longer a show anymore for things. Everyone talks about content. It's just content these days. Yeah. So that's the most amazing piece of online content, online show that we've got at the moment, and it's really good. I enjoy the quiz, just going a bit crazy and asking questions, and it's seriously not serious, because I think people take things a bit too seriously these days, and we've got a nice following of people as well. When they win the prizes, they don't even want them. They're, no, I'm just here to play, have fun. I don't want your hand sanitizer. No, I don't want that. Don't want the broken mug or the snow that have been or the strawberry. That have been some of the prizes. That's been really good. And that's not new either. Everyone's doing quizzes too. So I think there's still a lot out there to be explored with it. So I'm looking for that. That's the thing. So imagine at the moment, so that's why we've gone for Twitch for Helldecker TV and not Facebook, YouTube. But it's great. Thanks, Arena. We're going to do something on Facebook to try and convert more of these people. That's a great idea. But then if you decided on the show, what do you do with it? And this is, I don't know if I'm making a monumental mistake right now as well, just by basically, this is for free. This is what newspapers did when the internet hit and all newspapers were going online. They did free content, right? They put it online because they were selling newspapers. They were selling the physical thing, which is where all their money was, right? And the online was just, everyone's got to have an online footprint these days, so let's put our stuff out on there, but we're still selling shed loads of papers and advertising space. And now it's getting to the point where, you see The Guardian, if you know The Guardian newspaper that's, an English-speaking, they're in the UK, US, and Australia. They're online, that they are constantly bombarding you for, please give us money, support journalism, free thoughts, free opinion, free journalism. There's no subscription. Some places put a paywall up now, but when it first started years ago, there were no paywalls, and everyone got used to news being free. And now they're trying to change it and say, hey, no, now you've got to pay for it. And when we expect on the internet everything to be for free. So really in my mind, if I went with that was one thought to go, hey, Dan, if you're going to do stuff online, people have to pay for it. Put a paywall up first, even if it's €3 or something like that, or a couple of euros, just something to show it's not free. It costs, there are costs, even electricity, just even that, even the milk. The people appreciate that there are costs involved as well. But then I thought, oh, no, but everyone else is doing it for free. How am I going to get an audience? If I put a paywall up immediately, how am I going to get an audience to want to pay for? I'm going to end up with nobody watching, 0. Or maybe 2. But as I was just saying before, 2's just enough, Dan. Just do the show for 2 people and grow up from there. Maybe I've just convinced myself I should put a paywall up. But actually, the other point of the paywall thing, which is hopefully being solved really soon as well, is that the paywall, if I wanted to do it before on my own, then I would have to get server space, which costs you is another monthly fee. of things, and then you have to have some way of making sure putting the software in place so that people can pay, and then they can't just copy and paste the URL and give it to their friends, and then you just that's the URL. Go have a look. That there's some kind of security there, so it's a one-time use thing, or multiple devices, or however you do it, or if they want to do it as a monthly subscription, they get access to all the shows and all of those things. Then you have all of that tech stuff, which is a higher level of organization and also cost as well. But we shouldn't. This is doing online stuff is starting from afresh. Absolutely, it shouldn't be seen as you're going to lose money straight away from it. It is an investment in the future of what you're doing, that's for sure. So maybe you should put a paywall up. But in the end, I went with, no, I'm not going to put a paywall up. We've got this existing thing here, like Twitch, where they pay your server space, they give it to you for free, and you just provide content for them and sell your body. And so that you're trying to get people to come onto their platform so that they can get you to subscribe and stay on the platform and watch other performers, entertainers, games, streams that are going on at the same time as well. So yeah, I thought that no paywall, but I am going to do a paywall show at some stage. I think Dicey will work as a paywall show because I think that there's enough audience potentially out there to get 50 or 60 people maybe in, which would make sense, I think, to me. I don't know. What do you, as opposed to doing it free online here and then getting people coming in on the chat and just being, the fun ones that we've just had from before as well. So that's the finding the online content to do is so difficult because has anyone seen stand-up comics online? Seen stand-up comedy online? And I remember horrible. I saw some cluster Fs of performers of open mics, stand-up comedy online, and I thought whatever happens, I don't want to do that. I don't mind doing embarrassing things that go wrong, or I look like a bit of an idiot, or it's just head-shakingly bad. But I don't want to do it in a stand-up online comedy environment because I don't know, the audio was just crap. The transitions from the host to the other person. Am I on now? Am I supposed to be on? What's going? Yeah, it was just it was cringy, but highly enjoyable at the same time. I did enjoy that secretly. Online stand up is bad. You need that audience feedback. Thanks, Bat Shorts. Yeah, totally. It is. It's a real difficult thing to do. This is why we can't just put a camera up for the existing stage shows. They don't work. It just doesn't work. We have to rethink how it goes. Like we do burlesque here at Heldecker as well. And okay, burlesque wouldn't work on because it's sexually suggestive content. Even it's very soft. It's just. I think that you could get shut down for it. I know that Facebook and all of those that there have been burlesque shows that have gone on through Facebook and YouTube and places with private links and all of these things, but it's not super 100% legit how it goes. I want to do something legit, really. The underground, you got to start underground a bit, don't you, to get somewhere sometimes. That totally works. So we were going to do burlesque, but still online. I don't know if it would work online. It needs to be different. It can't just be a camera up like the shows that we had before, like speaking with Chrissy, who hosts the burlesque here at Heldecker and is one of the performers as well. It needs more thought. We're starting afresh. It needs to be thought out. And this is the kicker as well, that we need more time to think about online shows, to develop them, to really come up with, to have time with quality tech and quality technicians and quality people to kick the tires of it. And then we never know when we're going to go back to actually doing stage stuff. So this is the other thing of going, well, where do I want to be as a performer? Because you can't really do both. It's really difficult to do stage and online. Okay, yeah, doing a podcast, that's why podcasts everyone loves, because they're relatively easy to do. There's not a lot of prep. You get a live person, you get a person with a heartbeat, and you just talk to them and ask them questions and they give you feedback and you can have a bit of a laugh and a giggle. It's nothing scripted. But if you do a show that actually has a dramatic curve or has prepared lines or things that you want to do at certain places, then you need to practice that stuff. You can't be distracting yourself with stage versus online the whole time. I don't think so. Anyway, it's one or the other. You've got to choose. Hey, on that note as well, did anyone see the film? Oh, I gotta look it up. I gotta remind myself as well. I will I'll search for it quickly as well. It was by Woody Harrelson, and it was One Night in London. Is that what it was called? Let me just look it up. I've never done this before on the stream. I actually used my keyboard and stuff like that. One Night in London. Did anyone hear of it? Lost in London. It was Lost in London. It was in 2017, and it was a crazy ass film. It was a one-shot film. It was live. It was a live film. So it was based on a real event that happened to Woody Harrelson many moons ago when before he was famous, when he was famous, I'm not sure. And he decided to script all of it, redo that whole evening, but do it live, as in one take. So it was a 2-hour film. It was a feature-length film directed by Woody Harrelson, and he also played himself in the story as well that was based on the real event, and it was shot in London, and they did it in one take. So a full film without any stops at all, or cuts, or anything like that, all the way through. And he had it beamed to 50 cinemas in the States and one in London as well. And yeah, Woody Harrelson's fantastic, huh? White Men Can't Jump, one film that just jumps into my head straight away from my childhood that I remember. And yeah, definitely check it out if you can. I remember last time I looked for it, I couldn't find it online because it's not so big that anyone's dodgily uploaded one that you can watch, and I couldn't find any way of buying it either. And anyway, so the film he did it. And of course, man, if you're doing something live, there's so many dangers of things screwing up or going wrong. And if you're looking at a feature-length film in multiple locations all across London, and you're doing it from one camera, dung, 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 all the way, that you've got to put in the car, that you've got to have all the tech guys holding stuff, making sure you've got the right lighting, that you've got the right sound, that you don't lose battery, that the streets are cordoned off because they had to cordon off streets, and that you cordon them off so that it doesn't actually attract a massive amount of crowd, so that the people in the background, it looks like, the wrong thing. If you want a natural setting, that it doesn't look like. Anyway, so they did all of those things, and it worked. Oh my God, it worked. Supposedly it worked. I haven't seen it, but I did look at the reviews and saw the interview with Woody Harrelson about it. And they said, and he was very happy because he was nervous as hell and worried about going wrong and ruining his reputation, absolute reputation maker or killer as well, if he'd done it. It was the first one to ever do this. And they asked him, would you do it again? And he went, hell no, never again. It was great to do, but it was stressful, the amount of stress and the amount of things that could have gone wrong and ruined it. And people could have, why didn't he check his tech? Why didn't he know that was going to happen? And I'm sure they've been through everything, or doing their best to make sure. And not just doing your best sounds a lot like, I'm just going to try, but I'm probably going to fail. That's what it sounds like. No, I'm doing your best means like really switching on and actually going, yeah, I'm doing my best, man. Like really, I'm not going half-assed at this. And I'm sure that they did. I don't think that anyone that fails at something isn't doing it on purpose. They're doing it either because they're underprepared, or they didn't see all of the problems that came up, and there's a learning curve for them. But they never do it on purpose. They're not. I don't think that Woody Harrelson would ever do a half-assed kind of, I'll just do a feature-length film in one take, and yeah, she'll be right. Don't worry, everyone else will sort it out. Don't think that would ever happen. Anyway, it sounds like we'll do our best. Interesting. Don't you like the word, just on that, tolerant? When people say, we should be more tolerant as a human race, or as a bunch of people, or you have to tolerate that. I find that a really interesting word to use when people say, we have to be more tolerant towards other religions. We have to be more tolerant to other races or people or anything like that. It's really weird. Tolerant for me in the English language feels that it means that I don't like it, and I really don't like it still. But I have to put up with it against my will. It really irks me. I don't think that's what we should be teaching about religions or other races or other things. We should be teaching respect, and that we can understand but disagree with them, politely disagree. Oh yes, I understand your position. That's great, and you're allowed to have it. But I will politely, I don't agree with that necessarily. We should be more, open to new information. We don't necessarily have to agree with it, but we do have to be open to it. We don't have to tolerate something. If we tolerate something, it means that we're not changing. We're not opening up our eyes or our arms or our hearts to new experiences or new ways of looking at things. It means that we're just still stuck in our ways and just going, I have to put up with that just because I have to tolerate that. I have to tolerate you for the rest of my life. Oh, yeah. For me, that doesn't sound right. I hope that made sense somehow as well. Where did that get from? Lost in London. Whoa, about films. But yeah, the live thing. Yeah, that's why. I check out Lost in London anyway from 2017. I think religion tolerance is used as hate speech context, so it kind of makes sense. Okay, yep. Religious tolerance. Yeah, exactly. So that does make sense. We should tolerate other religions because then yes, please still disagree with them and still hate them. Yes, but. Haven't had much of the old milkaroo today. Haven't had much of that at all. Cooking with Schweppes. I should check this. Oh geez. Now let's just. Loore is here. I get distracted. I distracted myself massively. Let's just see if she's still there. We can get her on the line. Wicked. Awesome. Dudeism. That's what we're doing today. Let's see. And we haven't tested. This is talking about texty things. Oh, Loore, we will get you on. Okay, so she's still there. Whee! Let's talk then. Let's do this then. Let's talk this thing. I'm typing and streaming all at the same time. Petition to get this man some cookies to go with that milk. Yeah, could do. I'm going to put the headphones on. We're going to call Loore, and we're going to. This is all going to be live. We haven't tested this. Let's see what the audio is all going to be like. And yeah, sure. Let's do 20 minutes. Okay, let's call you then. How do we call? How do we call? We call. Did. There we go. Oh, geez, Louise, how's this going to go? Ding, 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 ding. Loore, are you there?
I am here.
Whoa! Hi, awesome. Excellent. Oh, brilliant. Let's bump up your volume here so I can get you in, hopefully. Welcome to we overcame all of these things. Brilliant. I just saw your message. Sorry, I got totally distracted as well with things. Good. Because... Oh, very good. We get to hear my ring. Normally, what happens, Loore, as well, is when we do our little a successful tech test, I get to talk to you about things such as like what we're going to talk about and to go through the things like, because I think we have met before, haven't we? So, Loore, anyway, maybe should I introduce you or not? Or because that's what I talk about as well, to figure out what I should say to people. To introduce you, how much should be said or not, or would you like to introduce yourself? And then one of my questions was going to be as well. We have met before, haven't we? Or we haven't. Or well, anyway, I should let you speak. We have Loore. I'm gonna I'm gonna count down from 3, 2, 1, and then after that, you're just going to say something. Yeah, is that okay? Let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
Hi. So my name is Loore, and yes, we have met before. I think I have seen you before, maybe twice. I think it was maybe something 5-ish years ago or something like that. And I think we have even attended a couple of parties together, probably at erinevate tubade klubi. So yes, that is how I remember sort of like meeting you back in the day.
Wow, cool. Okay, good. Thanks. Then it's not going to be awkward now at all. This is great. Super. So then it shows that I have an extremely bad memory of things as well. This is great. And you're probably all wondering, Dan, why the hell are you asking Loore that question when you've already organised it, invited her on the show here as well? It's because I know Loore. We've got lots of mutual friends as well in the performance world. Loore is been involved in theatre, performance, and all of these things. And we were putting together a Heldecker school, or koolitus, of helping performers or people that are on the fringes of society or performance society to help them. Because Loore, you have studied numerous things at Lavakas as well. You've studied. Did you study directing at Lavakas? Is that correct?
Actually, I've studied more than Lavakas. My first education was actually to become a music teacher. Then second education, I was in Viljandi studying theater directing and acting. Then in Lavakas, I was doing theater pedagogy and psychology. And then they're focusing on performers burnout. Then I took a little detour towards digitalizations. So I studied digital learning games, and now I'm doing my PhD finally in health, behavior, and well-being, while studying also psychology in that as well. So I would say that my thread, which puts them all together in this beautiful necklace of education around me, is psychology, which has been a huge driver for me. So yes, that is correct. That mostly I would link myself with the performing arts field, but there is so much more than that.
Brilliant. Thank you. And thank you for that introduction of yourself as well. That's awesome. I poked and I knew you'd done loads of things as well. And I was just, whoa, started there, and then the avalanche of everything that you've done. Thank you for finding time to talk to us, because it sounds like you're doing everything, and you've super extra mega busy as well, even during these lockdown times as well. Study. And which is the reason we wanted to get you on this school program for performers, which was about psychology and burnout, was exactly the reason that we wanted to get you on, because this is why I wanted to get you on the program as well, to talk about at the moment. I was sort of just letting my brain fly a bit before as well, and going through many different thoughts about whether I want to stay in the performance industry, even, let alone burnout, from this lockdown and the future of performance and everything like that. The psychology of performance, how do performers burn out? Can you tell us about that? Because, hey, isn't arts just super easy? And, you wake up at 2:00 in the afternoon, go to rehearsal for an hour, smoke some cigarettes, drink some coffee, and then, go home at 6, and then go out for a few beers, get drunk, and just, wash and repeat. How can performers burn out? Is that possible?
Yes, and it's happening all around the world all the time. I think, when we go to research, then mostly I would say that these performing arts or performers, musicians, mostly, and singers, but let's say that musicians in general, they have been not like compared, but put together in the same context with athletes, because when you think about it, then performers and athletes, they are actually the same. So because they both have to perform, and they have to perform under the eyes of the audience, and they have to put on their best show, right? So this is what you do. How the better your performance, the better the results. I don't know, you get fame, and you get money, and I don't know, attention, and flowers and stuff like that. Yes, in some sense, the actors also go to the podium, and the athletes also go to the podium. So I think this it's again compared with when we go back, let's say 40,000 years, the hunter gatherers, when they were living there together and sitting around the fire, and then the man then went. I'm doing quotes now, that to go to work and then kill a mammoth, and then in the end of the day, you bring home the mammoth, and then you say to your wife, look here, this is our food. Now eat, be happy, right? But us, the performers or athletes as well, or today it's a much more broader concept of knowledge workers as well. in the end of the day, you don't have anything to show. Like, so what is it that you did today? Okay, I ran, I don't know, a marathon, or I performed Romeo and Juliet, for example. But I mean, like, it's like something that you cannot touch or grasp. And this has been like the first, I don't know, let's call it like a yellow light that can put a huge pressure on the person who is performing. The other thing which gives this huge pressure is that it is you, the person, who is there to be seen to the audience, right? And this, how to call it now, but this challenge of like putting myself, my personal self, out there is, if this is not being, let's call it like regulated within yourself very well, then at one point, if you don't see, I don't know, the point or the value in what I do, then this burnout can be a pretty harsh and pretty steep hole to fall into. So yes, performers, athletes, actors, etc., they burn out a lot. It's still very, very, very much stigmatized, and it's still not spoken as broadly as is needed. But we're in the beginning of building up the dialogue. Let's say it like that. So we're in the beginning of this process.
Absolutely great points. Thank you for those points, Loore, as well. For those people just jumping in as well, we got Loore is highly educated in the arts and culture and entertainment, and is studying psychology as well. And we're talking about burnout in performers and performance people, actors, musicians. All of that as well, and it does happen. Absolutely, I know I've been on the brink of it maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times myself, at least the ones that I can remember. And and honestly as well, this last, and just being in the industry, because it's not even just, would you say it's not just actors and musicians as well? It's all of the people involved in the industry as well. I think that the tech people that hey, it's not working a 40-hour week, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. If people need stuff done, then it has to get done, right? Sewing costumes, or script rewrites, or setting up the lighting and tech and all of that, or all of that is needed as well. That even running Helldecker here as well. Like, I think before this lockdown in March came along, I was thankful for having at least 3 weeks off, because I was on the verge of just going, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. But what
Exactly.
when I should stop talking and get you to talk much more, because you've got lots of great things to talk about as well. What do you think about with performers and burnout with this lockdown that's happened? Because I've seen friends, changing jobs now. Hey, I've got a job as a real estate advisor. All of this. What do you think? You talked about them before. Your worth of being a performer and these things, and that can be a harsh burnout. Was the last thing that you just said as well. It's a difficult one to deal with. Is that something that's happening a lot right now? Of people not finding worth of, like, I'm useless. There's no point in me being. I know I felt that as well with performances that I've done. Like, at the moment, it's like there's just no future in it. Like, stage could be dead for another 3 or 4 months. Is there any point in me, practicing my craft or my art? And yeah, is yeah, is it? How what have you found in your studies and bits and bobs that you've been looking at with the effect of COVID on burnout with performers at the moment?
I am pretty sure that this research is, at this very moment, it's being done, and data is being gathered on. I mean, like, once when the culture scene opens up, and then the theaters open up, and the stages and musicians and can get to return to their work. What is being said is that we will probably see the it is the post-traumatic stress. I think we can see it, I don't know, maybe within the next 2 years approximately. So I think we today we still cannot say very strongly on, like, so what is the effect on COVID to the performing arts scene and to the performers. or people included in the performance business in general. What I think this, I mean, like, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing that this COVID. I mean, like, nobody, I guess nobody would have ever imagined that, for example, the traveling industry, the hotels and the flying and some and planes and stuff like that. So I guess nobody would have guessed in a million years that this is um, that this would be hit so badly. Another is definitely the entertainment business. It's like, come on, people always have needed and will always need, I don't know, circus and bread, as they say it in Estonian. So, so this is something which I think was a huge shock, and nobody, first of all, saw this coming. But I mean, like, nobody had even the tools on, like, okay, and what do I do? I mean, like, yes, it takes a lot of creativity to say that, okay, I'm a musician, so what can I do? Okay, I will do a YouTube live concert in my own home, for example. What we saw a lot happening in March and April. But again, like, if your brain is in alert when you're having a huge anxiety, because I mean, you don't know if you can pay the bills for the next month or the next months, and I mean, like, you have no idea how many months this will be. Will it be over within the next 2 weeks, 2 months, in the end of this year? Then within this state of anxiety, then it's very difficult to come up with novice and innovative and creative solutions for this, whatever is happening. So what I think this COVID brought out is, again, like, it's a psychological term of, like, the dark night of the soul, which stands for this deep, is it called, like, contemplation, on sort of, like, you have to look into the mirror and see, like, okay, if, I mean, like, what people often do and what performers often do is that they uh, they 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 make they put their own personality, I don't know, so my name equals the thing that I do, right? So it's like, I am an actor, but if you take away this acting part, for example, I cannot go on the stage and be a performer, then I am, whoa, I'm nobody. And I think this was a harsh moment for everybody on definitely in the performing business, in the spring, to see, like, if I, so am I a real estate agent now? Will I go, I don't know, do welding, um, start a small kindergarten in my community, and then I don't know. So what is it that I do? And I think the stronger ones, and I mean it with my wholeheartedness, is that I think the stronger ones are maybe equipped better to look into the mirror and to see that, okay, I might have other skills and qualities as well. So if I cannot perform, if I cannot be an actor, musician, whatnot, then this is not the end of me, but this is a process to now something else. So in conclusion, I think we will just see what is the actual result of the COVID to the performing arts business, let's say, like, within the next 2 years, I guess.
It's definitely, I think that there's going to be some attrition. It's going to be survival, when you say, like, survival of the fittest, really, in the end, as well. And that's what Arena was just saying in chat here as well. It's that I wonder if the concept of performance burnout applies to just everyday socializing as well, for introverts who feel like they need to put on a performance every time they meet their friends. So yeah, it depends how you approach it as well.
Actually,
Yeah.
Exactly. It is. This is so funny. In the spring, I read several articles about that the biggest winners of this COVID are the introverts, because I mean, like, woo! I never actually enjoyed, I don't know, going out and interacting with people that much, that I can now be at home and be alone and do my stuff alone. And so it's like, I don't have this FOMO anymore, that I don't know, I might miss out on something, rather than I know that I'm at home, and actually I know that everybody else is at home as well. So I think, yeah, it was a joke that the biggest winners were the introverts in spring.
How many performers, percentage wise, do you think, in your view, are actual introverts? Because I know quite a lot of really good performers, stage performers that do that. Yeah, wow, woohoo, awesome, yeah, fantastic, and then they just love to be on their own off the stage, and just trying to have a social conversation with them is really difficult. But on stage, they're
Mhm.
everything. Like, how many introverts are there in the performance world? Is it a general thing? Are there lots of them, you think, or is that an exception?
It's definitely a majority. Definitely a majority. And I think that people don't even want to like hide it anymore. It's at least like from from my friends, I've heard so many saying that they actually it's a secret, but I actually enjoy the spring because yeah, actually I mean I'm an introvert, so and also they say the same thing. A beautiful book written by Susan Cain, The Quiet. I can't remember what was the subtitle for it. Like a place of introverts in a world that cannot stop talking or something like it. So anyway, a book about introverts, beautifully written book, and a lot of research, like scientific based, science based. And then she says that or claims that majority of people are actually introverts, but again, like the world around us needs us to put on this performance and behave in an extrovert manner. So I guess that even if we want to think that, oh my God, the actors and performers, they, I don't know, need to be in the spotlight. I guess that this is just work, and once when the lights go off and the audience leaves the stage, then there's actually a very quiet person behind the mask, literally.
Yeah, exactly. Laura, as well, if you can, I'm at the max for being able to put your audio through up. If you before, when you spoke a little louder as well, it came through nicer as well. So feel free to speak a little bit louder if you can as well, or
Sure.
closer to your mic. That's great too. It was interesting that you did talk about as well the. I've lost my thought there as well. Whoa, look at this, going with the flow. The what burnout? Let's talk about that. Seeing if I can remember that. What do performers do then? No, that was the bit. Now I remember. Woohoo! Get there in the end. Is that it's interesting when you talk about the performers in the first lockdown, and still now as well, doing all these free Facebook and performances, etc., when at the same time they've got anxiety about how am I going to pay my bills or my rent and stuff like that. Why are performers expected to do free concerts or have to go out there? Like, if you're why was that a thing? Why did so many performers just go out, hey, I'm going to do it on Facebook for free, when I know I can't pay my rent? Why weren't they organized enough to go and put a paywall up against it? I just spoke about that before, as like newspapers years ago made that error of giving away all of their content for free, when online was seen as just an extra thing. It's not our most important because we're selling newspapers, actual physical ones. But now that's all dried up, and it's ruining them because they have no revenue from an online stream because everyone's used to getting it for free. Do you think performers are doing the same thing with this huge mass push to going online, that with everyone doing it for free, we're actually setting ourselves up for, again, giving away our talents for nothing, when we know that, hey, I've still got to pay my rent, dudes, and it comes across as a beggy thing. Why do you think we're expected as performers to? We're always the first ones that do charity gigs, always the first ones that get asked, hey, can you come and perform for free, or can you come to this event? But at this times of hardship, there's been no real support for them in that, and we're still expected to do free gigs on Facebook and stuff. Why is that?
I think we can see here communication and miscommunication. First of all, the communication that if some of the, I don't know, performers want to, I don't know. So here is, I don't know, my all of my previous albums you can download for free for the next 24 hours or something. Then I think this is a part of the, um, in that sense, like a communication, that it's also a support or the charity, if I even may, for from the performer side to the general public as well. Because I mean, like we all know that like everybody's in having a hard time, right? So if there's anything I can do to give you support, because when not only the performers were in a bad state of mind, their listeners or their audience was as well. So I don't know, if I know that, I don't know, he or she is having a hard time, and then I don't know, this one song can cheer him or her up, then of course I'd be happy to do that. But I think it changed quite quickly, that they still said that yes, I can do it for, I don't know, free or with very little money. But if you still want to support me, then here is my, I don't know, my Patreon, for example, or here is a box you can, I mean, like this digital box, you can name your own price, what you want to pay for this. So I think that this communication changed quite quickly. But when we talk about that, if the performers are being asked, for example, to do, I don't know, for free or for really little money, for example, on YouTube Live or something like that, then I think this is linked with the miscommunication. What I mentioned earlier is that the audience might have a wrong understanding on like what is the art, what is the craft that you do behind the screen, right? Because I mean, like, you're paying for your Wi-Fi services anyway, right? You're at home, so you don't have to rent the stage or the studio or whatever. And it's live, so I mean, like, why should I? Why would I pay you? So this is the communication we still have to change, and I think it's slowly it's getting better, or at least I have seen that this, it's a dialogue, you between your audience, for example. Then this is a dialogue that we need to set up. So I think the performers, they are stating their ground pretty good now when we have tested this out for the past 10 months, that how would it work, if we would stay online for the next, I don't know, year or something. So I
Because
think it's in a better process.
yeah, exactly. Well, I think that a lot of performers, when we talk about the survival of the fittest as well, the ones that there's a lot, I find that there's a lot more, I don't know, manipulation maybe, or marketing somehow online to be successful, as opposed to, hey, if you get booked for a gig to be a gig musician, you turn up, you do your thing, thank you very much, go home. You don't care about how much advertising there's done. You know, you can engage the audiences there. You know, the audience is there already. You don't need to try and, you know, get people to
Win them.
with them, or like, hey, I'm going to tell all my friends right now to come and watch this stream because it's so amazing, which you can do online. You know, you're probably in all of your message forums or whatever on a Friday night, and you say, hey, I'm watching this, come over and watch this, and you can pick up, you know, more people that then follow your channel, and, you know, getting people to subscribe, all of these things, you know, knowing all the lingo as well and what channels to do it through.
Yeah.
We're talking about that before. That I think that performers generally are really shit at marketing themselves or organization. Why is that? Why are we why is performance then attracted? Or would you agree with that? And if so, I know I'm leading it a bit. But if you did agree with that, why are we attracted to introverts that are very badly organized as a performance? Why are they good performers?
When putting the price, it sounds so bad, but I mean, putting the price tag to your art, and if you lower this, then it's linked with your imposter syndrome, because I mean, like, I don't value my art that much, that, I don't know, it's not worth, I don't know, 200 euros. I say it's 20 euros or something like that. A very good Estonian trainer said once that if you want to put a price tag to your whatever you're doing, then name your highest price to the point where you feel uncomfortable, and then add 10%. So this is the way to go. But I think that when these introverts, why they are such good performers, I think this comes with their nature of I don't know, goodwill, and then I I don't know, again, like, I want to support others, and their inner life, they, I don't know, experience things. I mean, I think this isn't uh quite, I mean, like, this isn't such a strong statement saying that only introverts do that. I think extroverts as well. But maybe, again, like, from the past experience, we have seen that this, what's it called in English now? Goethe, this writer, wrote this book, the young Werther's. Oh my God, I don't know how it's English. Sufferings of young Werther, for example. Then what we have seen, this stereotype, is this artist who is in agony, right? And then I don't know, somehow we still put them to the podium and say like, wow, okay, so he or she is such a good artist because or she is suffering with her art. But again, like I think this is just like, I don't know, like literally, I don't know, depression or high levels of anxiety, which is not healthy, and this person needs help, not admiration in that sense.
For sure.
So
For
yeah.
sure. I think that on that point, that I've always thought that, they say artists you should suffer for your art, and
No.
that also that if you look on for like the voice shows or whatever, the superstar shows or whatever, they're always looking for the storyline. You have to
Oh
have
yeah.
come from like have worked 27 hours in a day and slept for
Rough
-2,
childhood,
and
etc.
like worn the shoes on the wrong foot and all of that kind of thing the whole time. But all of that, just, oh my God, it must have been tough, and look at them now. That I never had that personally as well. Like I come from Australia, I grew up there, and I have a lovely mother and father, and they supported me in everything. That they supported me when I decided I wanted to become a performer. I wish they hadn't, because then I could, that would be my struggle. But they were like, Dan, do whatever you want. It's your life, and we'll support you to do whatever decision you make, even if it's the wrong one, because we trust that you're a smart, intelligent person that will make mistakes, but then learn from them and make better decisions afterwards, and you will grow as a person, etc., etc., la la la. But what I find that arts is hilarious, that we want this struggle, but generally arts is dominated by sweeping statement again, middle class people. So how can they be struggling unless they actually push it on themselves of having anxiety and making up problems and making up psychological problems? Because I see this in stand-up comedy, for instance, as well. The only people that can survive financially from stand-up comedy, as an example, are the people that come from middle-class families, because they have the money behind them to be able to not afford rent. Very few stand-up comics in the first 2 or 3 or 4 years. You're not professional enough. You're not getting enough money in to be able to pay rent, and pay for food and have an actual life. So it's got to be supported from somewhere else if it's not your normal job. Not everyone's like an IT genius, They're not working at Rimi and or at the local supermarket and doing stand-up comedy because they put all their eggs in that basket because they're going to become famous. No, it's normally a side gig from some people that have enough money behind them already. So it feels very middle class, our arts institution. So it's interesting, this burnout as well, because you would think that what have we got to prove if it is dominated by middle class people generally? Then there shouldn't be any financial stress really in what they're doing. Why do we burn out then? Is it literally because I'm trying to dissociate, but at the same time just be part of it, because we want to become famous, or what is it? Why do we burn ourselves out as performers? Because some of them, I think a lot of the time, it's not because of the money.
I mean, two things which have mostly been pointed out in this in research. One thing is, let's call it culture, the culture of performing arts fields in general, and this has to be like on all the time. So I mean, like you have to be on all the time, and now we have to be online all the time. So it's like again, like I'm going to the athletes, for example, is like once when you have your push, then you need to have the relaxation as well. So I mean, like I go run, I don't know, 40K, and then after this I will have my relaxation and gathering my strength again. But you as a performer, like performing arts performer, then you have to be on and you have to be online. So there isn't a moment when you like withdraw and then, I don't know, take time to not only like gather your thoughts, but I mean like also take care of your art, or have the art maintenance. Let's call it like that. So the first thing is that the culture is toxic. in so many ways, the culture of performing arts is so toxic. I mean, like, people on and behind the stage. I mean, like, probably most of it doesn't even come to the side of the audience. What the audience sees is, we call it the yellow magazine. Is like, oh my god, the life of the rich and the famous.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one side. The other side, why we burn out, and what is sort of like the downside of it is, and this was a new piece of information for me. I don't know, like 2 3 years ago when I first read it, was that in the performing arts, I mean, like, I think it's more generalized than that, but in the performing arts, we do not ask for help. We do not ask for help when we need it. We do not ask for a pause when we need it. We do not share when we actually need it. And then this is, I think it's again, like, coming back to the culture field, is that this is an element that needs to be addressed too, because it's stigmatized. I don't know, let's say that, I don't know, somebody who wants to hire you knows that you are right now having a depression, or I don't know, going through a burnout. He or she will not hire you because, I mean, like, oh my god, I don't know how you will behave, etc. So to have this dialogue on not to stigmatize psychological help needing, and to have this ability on having a dialogue to ask for help when needed.
Mm. And yeah, I think lots of people have that problem, not asking for help. I think even more so at the moment in these COVID times, because no one wants to go to the doctor or actually say anything so much as well, or go to the hospital. Even if it's not mental or psychological problems, it's even physical problems these days as well. We're going into that world too. Yeah, it's an amazing thing. That the whole performance world is definitely going to change. I know some friends in Australia as well, and one of my friends, she always gets the first bout of the flu, or in winter, or anything that comes along. She's got, she always gets it, and that is going to be ruinous to her career. Just from that, from now, because now we have to speak up about things, about sickness, which is good. I think it's good. We have to say, hey, yeah, I'm feeling, I'm having depression at the moment, and it's important that we say these things. But now, with actually being physically flu-like sick, that's bringing shows down. Like,
Oh yeah.
the amount of money that needs to be spent, I can only imagine what the plans in places for theatres are, of how many understudies you will need to keep a show going in case people get sick, and how employable are you, because you're going to have the track record. People are going, oh, that person always gets sick. Yeah, you don't want to book them. You don't want to get them involved. I think that's going to be stuff that's going to be in people's brains when they start auditioning for places. Okay, let me see your health card.
Exactly. Very well put. Yeah.
Thanks. Arena, we do have some people watching and listening, Loore, as well. Arena's got to go. Thanks, Arena, for popping in, and thanks for your comments today. Been great having you along, as always. We're talking to Loore Martma, an Estonian lovely lady who studies everything related to performance arts, and I don't even know what to say. Like this, Loore studies a lot, and we were talking about artist burnout as well. You're doing what else were you studying as well, Loore? What are you doing at the moment?
At the moment, when we talk about my studies, then I'm doing my PhD in health, behavior, and well-being, with the focus on actors, performers, burnout. Then I'm studying psychology to support it, and then also now doing the mindfulness teacher training for workplace. So this is again, like, this is valuable for not only, like, let's call it like corporate workplaces, but also, why not, theaters and music halls, etc. So
Yeah, cool. So you're saying, so you're transitioning, you would say, through in the performance arts to try and making your skills more relatable to wider fields as well, like in the business senses, because they're all interrelated as well. I see
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah, yeah.
psychology, performance art, mindfulness, awareness. Which is one thing. Oh, this is a question I want to ask as well. In all of the things that you've done in performing and studied and everything like that, and when you talk about mindfulness as well, this is great. Is there a base method that you use yourself, or that is recommended I know in different theatre schools, like in circus schools, for instance, they use maybe a martial art as a base because it has some kind of physical and mental thing that you put together. I know that in a theatre school that I went to, the Feldenkrais was a really important part of the mind and body awareness. So you know what you're doing, so you can be a good actor, and all of this. Is there a base that you've used that you find successful for being aware, for being a good performer, for being mindful, for being all of those things? Does that make sense? My question.
Yes, or let me try to answer that, and then let's see if we met in the middle. During my studies in theater school, then we were asked to be present on the stage, but again, like I didn't know what are the tools on being present, right? So now for the past 7+ years, when I've been doing mindfulness practices on my own and now also teaching now, then now I can understand like what are the tools that I can use to be present, not only like on the stage, but also during a conversation or with myself or with my works, with my studies, etc. So this need to be here and now in present, this requires tools. So yes, mindfulness has been my my toolbox. Let's call it like that.
Mm-hmm. And is there any official what yeah. So you mean mindfulness is the toolbox that you've figured out, is the bit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And can you explain more about that then? What is mindfulness then?
To me, mindfulness is an approach and it's an attitude that I use, like being mindful during whatever the activity that I'm doing at the moment. So this means that this ability of paying attention, being here in the present now, with a non-judgmental way. And this sounds much more than it actually is. So actually, like let's call it like the end result, like when the moment of being mindful, then it's the state of being calm and it's actually being here in the now, not in this anxiety level, all this happening at the same time and not grasping the moment. So mindfulness is actually once when you have the tools, then it's easier to be here and the now.
And
Just a small note to you that if it's okay, then I should sort of like start wrapping up if it's okay.
sure. Absolutely. Hey, this is what going with the flow is. Anytime you can finish any time as well. Absolutely. But with just finish on mindfulness though as well. Is this a thing that you learnt online as well? What is it? Because we can have different religions or ways of thinking and ways of yeah. Tell more about mindfulness, please. Yes.
I mean, it has been around. Mindfulness-based practices or mindfulness-based approaches have been around since, let's call it like the late 70s already, and much more in the UK, in the States, etc. But here in Estonia, not more than 10 years. I would say that it has not been around. So when I started, then I started with books and online. But now there are several very good teachers in Estonia who are trained teachers or either attended to the Oxford Mindfulness Center or studied other places abroad. So it was not possible to learn it back then in Estonia. But so I started, yes, with books and online and with my own steady practice. Then found other practitioners as well, and then have grown my experience ever since. And now also teaching myself.
Excellent. Fantastic. Brilliant. So is that what is for people to wrap up and to try and put I love all the topics we've talked about, and I wish we had more time to go through all of them as well. We'll have to get you back sometime to talk about lots more things as well, because it's been a lovely random day today. It's been
Awesome.
brilliant. All my prep went away as well, and then now you're here. Yay! Woohoo! So we're talking random. This is great. Then about performers that get anxiety and burnout and all of these things. So your recommendation, or what you see through your research and what you're doing, is that what are the best ways to overcome this? We've talked about like being accepting, being able to say that you've got a problem and asking for help and saying, hey, I'm not feeling great, I need some help. And mindfulness, is that another thing that you would recommend, that people have more tools in their toolkit to be able to, deal with anxiety, and mindfulness, or having something like that is helpful as well? What else can they do to help overcome anxiety and burnout as a performer in the performance world?
Perfect. Those are exactly the two things that I would recommend. First of all, acknowledging to yourself that I need help, or I need even just support, or I just need somebody who would listen me out. So definitely asking for help, if this is the one takeaway. And I mean, this goes beyond the performing arts, but I mean, I would say to general public as well, that if you need help, please, please, please do ask. Make yourself vulnerable. It's difficult, but it's needed. And the other thing is that mindfulness, I have to say this, that mindfulness techniques are not for everybody, and especially like with a deep depression, for example, clinical depression, then this is not something to start with, I don't know, on your own, and do even like breathing techniques. It cannot, or it can can it can not be helpful if it's or in cases of trauma as well. But mindfulness definitely has its own benefits, and now today in Estonia you can get help, and you can help with supervisors or teachers of mindfulness. So yes, if these are the two takeaways from our talk, from our little talk today, then I would be so happy.
Excellent, brilliant, and of course, as well, as long as people, if you're putting your hand up saying, "Hey, I need help," and if people are honest about their situation, then of course you would recommend, if people get in touch, this is what I'm worried about, this is what's happening. You would go, hey, then you should recommend other people as well, if depending on your trauma or what's going on as well. And on that, would you recommend, hey, you've got to shop around or look around, find out something that resonates with you, that you're happy with as well, because everyone's got a different way, I'm sure, within the mindfulness world of teaching the method or teaching the ways of it. They'll accentuate certain points more than others, and it will change over time as well, I'm sure, with the more research that you do as well, that everyone's methods slowly, evolve as well.
Yes.
And person to person it's a personal choice. So yeah, as you say, I think that's great. Mindfulness, hey, it might not be for everyone. It's and everyone teaches a different way. So all teachers are going to have a different way of doing it as well. So definitely, thank you, Loore. This is brilliant. That's always ask for help as performers and general public too. And check out Mindfulness. Maybe it's for you too. And Loore does teach on. Are you teaching online as well?
Yes, nowadays I teach also online. So if anybody's interested, then look me up. My name, Loore Martma, and at gmail.com. Feel free to write me and then hit me up. I'd be glad to help and share with what I have, and share for my future trainings as well. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Loore, for taking the time.
A lovely Sunday evening.
Excellent. Thank you very much, and wish you a lovely Sunday evening too, and hope to see you sometime in the future, sooner rather than later. And wicked. Thank you very much, Loore. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
And that was Loore Martma there today. Wow, that was cool that we got her on the line in the end. Wicked. Don't we love online stuff? That's wicked. Yeah, so I wish we had more time with the tech stuff. We missed out on having a longer chat, because it's really got very done so much research in the performance arts field, and it was good to get to pick her brains for a little while. Mindfulness and ask for help if you're a performance. We do know that as well. We don't know that. We do know that, but we don't do it. It's so right. There's so many times of just going, you just keep going through, you just gotta work. You should never stop and say, hey, I think I need a bit of a break. I need to talk to someone about it. That's so true. Hopefully out of this as well, I think that lots of performers had. I know I was very thankful for having a break in March in COVID. Actually kind of happy about it now as well, just to be honest. Even though it's still doing online, it is different though. Online is different to stage, though it's not. Oh my God, my brain is shot as well today. La 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 la. I think I need some help. Yeah. That feels like we should finish there for today. We've done. That was going with the flow. That was 2 hours and 20 minutes of going with some random ass flow there today. That was some flow. Well, ladies and gentlemen who've been watching today, this is Helldecker TV. This is the online arm of Helldecker, a theatre and a bar in Tallinn, Estonia. And I have been your Dudeist host. I'm Dan Leman, and I've been just going literally with the flow today. Sometimes it flows really well. Sometimes it just goes, woo, but it always just happens, which is what we got to do. You just got to chill and go with the flow, folks. That's a good life thing. It's from the Big Lebowski. If you're looking for a film tonight to watch, then the Big Lebowski is there to check out as well. It's an official religion. You can actually also give yourself your own degree through their university as well. They've got the Abide University, and you can give yourself a PhD in something like, I don't know, comedic science. Yeah, I gave myself a PhD in comedic science from the Abide University through Dudeism. It's pretty cool. It's an honorary doctorate. Yeah. Honorary doctorate. I shouldn't say PhD. That's incorrect. Boom. It's an honorary doctorate. Yep. Check it out. Anyway, we've got on Monday, it's giggly, too much milk. It really affects me, the milk, because that's what, in the film, The Big Lebowski, the dude, he drinks White Russians all the time, and he drinks milk. Yeah, so I'm trying to do all that. That's what this is all about. It's a costume to try and keep to the Dudeist principles there as well. Wow, went out of focus for a bit. Whoa, been having too much milk there, dude. I'm going to go now because this is getting la 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 la. Monday, we've got the quiz. That is awesome. The quiz is always great and giggly. Check it out. The quiz on Monday at 9 o'clock GMT plus 2. If you do like the stream, even if you don't, follow. Tell your friends, share. We've got YouTube. We've got where the videos go up after 24 hours. We've got loads of different things up and all of that. So just, click on something, just smash a button or two if you can or can't, or wicked. I think we should just end now. Thanks again to Loore for being our guest, and thank you to you for watching, listening, and being part of this as well. And thank you to the intranet and all of those things that make this happen for us to stream on as well. That's very nice of them. And I feel like I'm doing sponsors at the end. We don't have any sponsors. So that's really easy. I'm going to click the ending soon button. Bye-bye.